Okay, there we go. All right. Hi, I'm Sam from Thoughts on Tomes.
I'm
Sarah.
Kristin.
Oh,
Oh,
we said it at the same time. We've already failed.
we always do that. Go ahead, Sarah Jane.
I'm Sarah Jane from The Book Life.
And I'm Kristin from Cap89X.
And we are doing our birthday celebration live show. So if you guys are joining us and just saw the link on Twitter or something and didn't see videos, we are doing a live show to kind of talk about our 1 year on Booktube anniversaries because we all started Booktube within 24 hours of each other, and now we're like Booktube best friends. So, you know, as fate would have it. So we're kind of doing like a Q&A hangout thing. So we do have the Q&A box open if anybody wants to ask questions throughout, and we also have questions that you guys ask us on our videos and Twitter and Instagram and everything else. So we will get started with everything and kind of go from there. So the first question, which is probably like one of the biggest ones and got asked multiple times, is what is your favorite book that you've read so far this year? And I'm not sure if that means this Booktube year or this year, so we can answer both.
Oh. Ooh, that changes the game.
I'm going to look at my books now. I don't know.
I just opened up Goodreads. I was like, wait.
I don't really know
really
either.
boring.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, there, I see it now. I wasn't making the green dots next to my name.
I've
Okay.
got two favourites.
Go ahead, Sarah Jane.
Yeah, you go.
There's one that I would mention, but I'm leaving it because I know it's going to be answered later, and I think you both know which book I'm talking about, so I'm trying to leave it. If we're going to say Booktube year, I would say Ugly Love and Ignite Me are my favourites. But that's like Booktube year because technically it was last year, so I hope that counts.
What would you say for this year, period? Like this 2015 so far?
Maybe Someday.
Maybe someday. Look at you, Colleen Hoover, represent.
I know.
Oh, man. I don't even... I'll try... Kristin, do you have one or should I go?
You can go.
This is like choosing children as a mother.
Yeah.
Not that I would know, but like, you know, it's really hard. I think so far on Booktube, it would be a tie, I think, between, and it's for series Fallen Kingdoms and the Grisha trilogy, which we'll talk about like 18,000 more times today.
Yeah.
And also Ignite Me is like such a good book. I mean, who am I forgetting? Oh, my baby. Oh God, I can't even. And then this year so far, I think I'm gonna have to say The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson, first book in Mistborn, because it's literally everything. I haven't read the rest of the series yet because I do that. I hold off when it's something that's so beautiful that you just don't want it to like finish. So yeah, that's me so far this year.
For me, last year was Ready Player One by far. Beat everything, like top of my 2014 books that I read within the first 6 months of being on Booktube. And then this 6 months this year so far, besides the Grisha, because they're all really good, I would think, I'm trying to look at my Goodreads, and I think the other 5 stars, besides like graphic novels, would have been Throne of Glass and...
Oh, I forgot them.
I
Yeah,
always
'cause
forget them.
Yeah, they were so good as well. They're the only ones that are sticking out as like really big things. I mean, I have on here Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore. I gave that 5 stars, which I really, really enjoyed. So, but yeah, those are the ones that are sticking out. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, while we're on the topic, because we all pretty much mentioned fantasy books a lot. What are your favorite fantasy recommendations? Series, standalones, whatever. I mean, they're going to be the same.
Yeah, it's going to be the same as what we say all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty predictable in that way.
Yeah, I'm definitely predictable. I think everybody just sighs when I pick up a certain couple of book series.
Oh, yeah.
I think young adult fantasy, definitely it's got to be the Grisha.
Yeah.
And if I'm going adult fantasy, of course I'm going to say the Fever series, like you know it's going to happen.
For good reason. For good reason. Both of them.
It's falling out my ear.
Sarah Jane, there's a really good question coming up later that you are going to be stumped at, and I can't wait to ask it. It kind of relates to the Fever series, but like not really. It's going to be good. As far as me with fantasy, obviously, yeah, the same things. The Grisha trilogy is amazing young adult fantasy. Fallen Kingdoms is an amazing young adult fantasy. The Winter's Curse trilogy is bomb.
I've just bought that.
Oh my god, it's so good. And To Kiss of Deception, obviously there's only one book. Well, the second book is in my mailbox. I haven't gotten it yet because y'all know I would not be here right now. And yeah, the Graceling trilogy. It's called like the Seven Kingdoms trilogy or something. It's Graceling, Fire and Bitter Blue. I talk about all the time on my channel. Yeah. That's a really good young adult fantasy.
My fingers are literally itching to go and buy more books.
I just did my book haul, and Sam is going to be so excited because there's like 3 books in there that I bought solely because Sam has talked about them for like the past 4 months. I'm like, well, they're all book out.
Right.
I know, because I already done Sarah Jane. Sarah Jane started with the Dream Fever. The Fever series. So I read that, and then I also have from Sarah Jane, Jennifer Armentrout, White Hot Kiss, which I haven't read yet either. I know, look at her.
I'm so excited. Oh, why didn't I say that? Oh, Rolf, I'm so sorry. I forgot you.
Yeah, you like those a lot. So basically, you guys are the ones that I buy books now based upon what we say. Like.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then if we all like it, we end up reading it for like a random read-along, so it works really good.
Right, yeah. Like if we all think we're going to like it, it just works out that we're like, why don't we just read this together?
Yeah, what the heck?
Works out. Favorite book based on the cast of characters?
Ooh. I'm looking at my bookshelves, guys. I am.
I mean, not to be stereotypical, but the cast in the Grisha trilogy is fucking great. Like I'm just saying, it's real good.
I would say the one that sticks out before that for me is just Harry Potter, but that's because I grew up with that. And every single character through 7 series or 7 books, which is like what? It's probably over an 8,000-page series. Like it is, the characters have grown so much, you learn everything about them. And then through Pottermore, where you get all the backstories, like those characters are so rich. Yeah. But besides those, in like short term, the Grisha is amazing for the character development. So I agree.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to say the Shifter series because I'm looking at all my books, and with each cast of characters, there's always one character that I don't really like very much. And it's like, oh, that's great, but I don't like that person. That's great, but I don't like that person. So although I have favourite characters from other series, there is not one character that I dislike in the Shifter series. So I'm probably going to say that one.
I'm smiling because I'm reading it right now.
I'm smiling because you're reading it right now.
Yeah, I'm just like, also, I think ultimately, like what you were saying, where you don't dislike a single character, the Night Circus for me has it has so many. I mean, it's one book, but it has so many characters in it, and they're all really complex and like morally great characters. Like everybody is a very rich and complex character, and that I think is my favorite for the cast because even though not everybody is a main character, I love all of them, even the ones that are like villains, I love them. So even the minor, like I remember, since I've reread it once now, so I've read it twice, I remember every single character in it, and usually I'll forget like one minor character in a book, and for that one I remember every single character as like a distinct personality.
Yeah, I'm actually listening to that right now, and I'm like, I would say a quarter of the way in, and it's so good. It's because of you. Right. And I am just like, this is so fun, and I like how I didn't know it was gonna like flip around, so it kind of like flips around, and it like gives you the one thing. I'm like, they're like, okay, now it's 1887. I'm like, okay, 1887, and then like I'll start listening to the story. I'm like, okay, and then it'll be like, now it's 18 something else. I'm like, okay, gotta pay attention. Like it's going all over the place, but it's so good, and I love it, and I feel like you think you know, like the first time for me, because I'm only a quarter of the way through. As I start reading it, I'm like, oh, that character is just saying a fake name. But then, like, 2 chapters later, you're like, oh, wait, these actually are 2 different characters. But for a second there, you think it's the same one just being fake. You're like, wait, what? So, yeah, I really do like it.
I've got it, but I haven't read it yet.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Favorite book that other people don't like or that Booktube doesn't like that you never hear about or that Booktube doesn't
Ooh, I know. For me, that's going to be The Ugly series by Scott Westerfeld, or Fieldfeld. I read that in high school. Like, I binge read that whole series. And that's, like, right before Twilight came out and The Hunger Games. So that's really what got me into, like, the dystopian. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is so exciting. And then Hunger Games and then Divergent came out. But before, my first love was The Ugly series. And I want to reread it at some point. But, yeah. That's the one I'm like, everyone's like, this isn't as good as The Hunger Games. I'm like, yes, but this was out before. the Hunger Games. You have to understand.
Right.
This is what made Hunger Games.
Right. Like it was one of the front runners of like dystopian YA. It's like
yeah, it kind of just dove in there and opened up the space for all these other ones. So yeah,
I don't
Uglies
think it's
for
really
me.
happened to me. Like I kind of, although I'd be more than happy to like really praise a book that everybody else didn't like, but it hasn't really happened yet. Like if I don't like a book, I can always find someone who doesn't like it.
Right.
I haven't really had to like defend a book yet. Do you know what I mean? Like it hasn't really happened to me, but when that day comes, I will defend it.
Oh, I know, right? Right.
Yeah, to the death.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. I don't really have a book that people hate either, like, for the most part. I really like the Sabriel Lyria Porson, I have it right here, but by Garth Nix, and not everybody likes Sabriel, and that's my favorite book in the series. Some people are reading it now, like, it's an older series, it came out like the 90s, but, so it wasn't really popular, and then some people are reading it, and some people like it, some people don't. Like, it's a really, like, love it or hate it book, but it's not necessarily hated by Booktube. And then the Archive by Victoria Schwab, not many people talk about, and some people really don't like it, and that's my favorite book by her, and I don't like, so far, I've only read A Darker Shade of Magic by her besides that one, and some people don't like that one and love all her other books, and I have not loved her other books, like, at all. And I've actually disliked them, and I love the Archive, so I think that's the only one that's, like, one Booktube hates, but they don't really hate it, so, yeah. Hardcovers or paperbacks?
Oh, paperbacks. I know hardbacks are pretty, and I know they last longer, but I just don't enjoy them as much to read. Like, there is something very lovely about opening a really floppy paperback, and it just stays open. Yeah, I mean, hardbacks are prettier, but I am a paperback person. The only thing that annoys me is when a hardback comes out and you have to wait a year for the paperback. Because then if I've already got books in the series, I don't want that because it's hardback. But if I don't buy it then I don't get it for a year. So I end up buying it on Kindle and then getting it on paperback in a year's time. So I think now that I've gotten so used to getting excited for books when they're new coming out, it's harder to like paperback, I think. Do you know what I mean? But I am a paperback person, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm the same way. I prefer paperbacks. So if I don't love a series, I'll get them on paperback and just wait, and because I don't care if I'm spoiled or whatever. But for my favorite series, I've started buying them on hardcover because I know I'm going to want the next ones, like Fallen Kingdoms, like ones that are currently running. You know, Because of Deception, like those, the Winners trilogy, like those I'm buying on hardcover. One, because hardcover is nicer to display, you know, and they don't show the wear and tear of you reading them. But otherwise, like, I prefer to read paperbacks. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, Sarah Jane, but doesn't the UK, don't they usually come out, like, a lot of books come out in paperback when they first come out anyway?
Yeah.
Like, I've seen that. So it's easier, and I like UK covers anyway, so sometimes I'll actually buy UK editions just so that I can get them when they first come out and not have to worry about it. So.
I know when City of Heavenly Fire came out, a lot of people on Instagram were saying to me, "Oh my God, how did you get hold of a paperback?" And I was like, "I walked to the shop and I bought it."
Right.
I don't understand what you're talking about. And everybody was like, "No, we can't have it." And I was like, "Haha." But yeah, it is. You can often get paperbacks here a lot sooner because all the books that I have an issue with are ones that I can't go into like local Waterstones and buy. So yeah.
For me, it's just. It depends. Like, it's kind of like what Sam said with the hardback with the series and then paperbacks for others. But if there's, like, a series that I really, really enjoy, I like to, like, get the hardback. But if it's a book that I really like, for example, The Night Circus, I wanted to make sure that it was in a hardback that I liked or a paperback. So I'll, like, look at all the covers because that's been out for a while and buy the one that's, like, most appealing to me. Or, for example, right now, I know we've all been talking about Uprooted by Naomi Navi.
Yeah.
Did you see the Book Depository edition?
See, I'm a weird person, and I love the American edition. Like,
no, I like the American, but the pastels.
I know. It is pretty, but I'm like one of the weird people that, like, typically speaking, I love, like, the white covers and the pastels and stuff like that, but for some reason I'm like, I love that American cover. And it's so stereotypically, like, fantasy, but I'm just like, it's so pretty.
Yeah,
so, like, I'm one of the few people that actually, like, prefers the American edition. But the UK edition is gorgeous, too. It's obviously both pretty covers.
Yeah, for me, it doesn't really matter if it's floppy paperback or hardback. It's more so, do I like the art that's on it? Because, for example, Perks of Being a Wallflower, you guys have in the UK.
Oh, you like my one, don't you?
Yeah. got the orange and the black
Yeah.
and whatever, and I'm like, yeah, that's so cool. And ours just has like the green, which it's okay,
It's
but like
plain.
the orange and the black one, I'm like, yeah.
That was
So,
one of the first things we bonded over, Kristin.
yes, it was.
It was, because you were like, oh my god, that version. I was like, what, is it anything special? And I remember that was one of the first things we ever spoke about. God, nostalgia.
Oh,
It's so funny.
that year ago.
Right, right. Standalones, duologies, or trilogies? Which do you prefer? I have a very instant answer for this.
For me, it depends on the subject and the genre it's in.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a contemporary, standalone, maybe a duology.
Yeah.
If it's fantasy or science fiction, trilogy. Give me as much of that world as I can get.
Right.
Very rarely do I like a contemporary that goes more than one book. Like, I don't get this thing that's going on right now where it's like, read this story and then have a second one but read it from somebody else's point of view.
Oh, it's so annoying.
Yeah, and it's like with Slammed by Colleen Hoover. I loved it, but Slammed was done, and then I read the next one. It's like, this is quite good, but I don't think it's necessary. And then I read the third one and I was like, I don't like this.
No, it's because it's not necessary. It's
Yeah.
not necessary.
If it's contemporary, I think most contemporaries need to be like one book. There's very few, exceptions. But if it's fantasy, I think generally a trilogy, because, you want all the world building and stuff. But I think a lot of the time now, a lot of books are stretched out into more than what they need to be just for money-making reasons. And I know it's a business, but sometimes the books can suffer.
Yeah. Contemporary, like you guys were saying, standalone contemporaries, like I typically, if I hear it's going to be a duology, like I'm not really pumped about it. But I prefer duologies the most, actually. Like I know, like typically speaking, we're going to get a trilogy for like every fantasy series ever. Now the 6-book series is becoming like the big thing too, which I'm just like, is that going to be good or bad? But I prefer duologies because I think a lot of trilogies could have been turned into duologies and been way better. So, because typically speaking, your middle book is like this filler book, and you're just like, why is this? There's very few exceptions for a trilogy. But besides that, like, typically speaking, I prefer a duology, like with 2 bigger books would be perfect for me, and then it's not like we're left waiting forever for this last book that may or may not be great.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the time the last book can often be really rushed because there's been such a lot of success for books 1 and 2. The books then get rushed, and you read it and you're like, is this really where this started out? Like,
Yeah, that's a problem. Like, I feel like some authors come out with a really good concept for a story, and the first book's so strong, and then the second book maybe is already written, and that's strong, but then the third and fourth book are really, like, rushed and pulled, and then there's just this, they want to then wrap it up and give it a nice ending, and maybe that's not the ending the author intended, but that's the ending that's gonna sell or appease most people. So like, okay, I guess this will be the ending. And
yeah, I like quartets a lot too. Like, I think a lot of trilogies sometimes suffer because they should have been a little bit longer and they were so condensed in the last book. So I think a lot of trilogies could actually be extended to quartets, and then it'd be like beautiful. Like, I really love that the Raven Cycle, which I haven't started yet, but is a quartet, because then you have all this like time without the last book being like, oh look, we're gonna rush everything. Kind of like almost how I guess like Mockingjay sort of was in a way, where it was just like we rushed all this stuff that we didn't need to rush. So yeah.
That was my one gripe with that trilogy. I'll never forget it. It was like, oh, book 1, good. Book 2, amazing. Book 3, it's getting good. It's awesome. What is the ending? What? Oh. Okay. It's just like, okay, is it good, I guess? So.
There's so many trilogies where that happens.
I hate it.
Yep. Makes me sad.
Makes me nervous.
Sorry, don't want to cut you guys off. Most book you're most excited about for its release later on in the year.
I know. I'm so excited for Every Last Breath, which is the third book in the Dark Elements, which is like White Hot Kiss, Stone Cold Touch, and then
which
Every
looks
Last
like
Breath.
they changed the cover.
Did they change the cover?
They did. The covers were horrible. Like, I hated them. They looked like cheesy 90s romance, and it just looked so awful. And then when I heard they changed them, I was like, oh, maybe they'll be better, and they're not. So I'm just, they look, if dare I say it, worse. So I'm very excited for the book, but it has let me down a little bit because I'm just kind of go yay, but no,
Yeah.
put it on the shelf. But I am really, really excited about it, and I actually thought it was going to come out in like September. I don't know why, and it turns out it's actually this month. So it's like a pleasant surprise. So I'm really excited. Yeah. But if I don't get my ship, I will be mad.
Good luck.
Yeah.
As far as for me, Six of Crows, which obviously, I mean, I have an arc, but I'm waiting. But again, I'm just excited that's coming out. And Frozen Tides, which is the 4th book in Fallen Kingdoms. And then Winter for the Lunar Chronicles. I'm not as excited as everybody else is, but I'll be excited once I have it in my hands, because that's a series that I always forget how much I love it until I start reading it again, and I'm like, oh wait, I freaking love this series. But so right now, like, I know in my head that I'm gonna like be so excited, but it's just like so far away that I just can't even think about it.
I haven't even read them yet. Bad.
Oh, you like those?
Where have you been?
I know. I've only got Scarlet. I don't know. I've only got the second one, and I can't.
That's my
find the first
favorite.
one.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, Scarlet is good. Besides Armada, which was, I already read it, and that's coming out next week. Yeah. Yeah, about that. And again, Six of Crows, I'm really excited about. Those are like the 2 books. I was like, I'm so excited. Like, Six of Crows, the only reason I haven't pre-ordered it is because everyone's doing a giveaway for Six of Crows, and I'm just like, maybe I'll win the giveaway.
Right.
But like, I'm like, yeah, if I have 2, what's the big deal? But if I don't get, I mean, with Six of Crows, I'm excited. I'm also really happy for a lot of graphic novels coming out, which is like a problem when people are like, top 5 books that are coming out this year. I'm like, what about the graphic novel? Because Spider-Gwen might be a graphic novel. It's coming out in November. So I'm like, yes. Yeah. I'm like, please.
Yeah.
So
And isn't the next Saga coming out sometime this year, too?
Yeah, Saga is coming out in September. I just filmed an upcoming releases. That's why I know. Saga's coming out in like September 21st or something like that.
Yeah, I'm all about that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I'm really, Saga 5.
What is your favorite book to movie adaptation that you've already seen, and what is one that you're most looking forward to? Tough. I don't watch a lot of book to movie adaptations, to be completely honest.
I don't either. So I already know my answer, so I'll just go, give you guys a chance to think. My favorite book to movie adaptation, besides, I think Mockingjay was Catching Fire was a really good one. One that doesn't get a lot of press and they didn't finish was The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Oh, that's right.
When I read that book and I saw that movie, I was like, this is perfect. Like, everything about it was perfect. I'm excluding Harry Potter because obviously those are just fantastic. Yeah. The one that I'm excited to see, which is a book I haven't read yet, which is The Martian by Andy Weir, because it's going to have Mark Wahlberg. And I'm resisting watching the trailer because I don't want to spoil myself for the book. But yeah, I'm excited for that. The Martian. Yeah.
I love Catching Fire as an adaptation. I think it was marvelously done. I actually am obsessed with the Hunger Games adaptations. I think they're really good. Even Mockingjay, like Mockingjay 1, I know got a lot of people like slammed it.
I didn't watch it yet.
Oh my god. I think I cried like 6 times, and it wasn't just from the emotions and the stress. Like, it's just
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I loved it.
Maybe enjoyed isn't really a good word because it's more like it physically hurts you.
It does. Yeah,
I enjoyed that pain.
Netflix, though, so I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Soon. So yeah, and I think they're going to do a really good job, and I'm really excited for the Mockingjay Part 2. I think that's what I'm most excited about because I just think they're going to do a really good job. I think that they're going to take what was kind of a crappy end of a book and like make it fully fleshed out. So I'm really pumped about that. I'm trying to think of The Martian. I'm really excited about too, but I'm not sure if I'm going to end up reading it before I watch. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if I'll end up seeing it in theaters or anything. But it does look like a really good. Oh, and Me and Earl and the Dying Girl looks.
Oh yeah, good. That looks cute.
Yeah, I haven't read the book yet. I got it at BEA, but I'll end up reading it and then probably watching the movie. The movie is the reason I want to read the book. Like the movie.
That happens a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And usually I'm not a person that cares about reading a book first. Like, I know that that's sacrilegious, and I've said this before. I do not care. Like, if I want to watch a movie, I won't necessarily read the book. Like, unless I had already planned on reading the book.
Yeah, it has to be a book I already want to read. Like, I'm not going to read it just to watch the film. I think my favourite is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. and that is actually one that I watched before reading the book, and I went to see it at the cinema by accident because we went for something else and it wasn't actually on. And I was like, well, I don't know what this is, but should we go and watch it? And it was in a really, really small screen because it was like almost out the cinema. You know, it was like the last weekend. And I was just staring at it, and I thought it was amazing. And then last year I read the book, and I realised that the film wasn't necessarily like, and of course it was an adaptation, but I felt that it really gave it a different, not spin, but a different way of looking at it. Because the book is all like from Charlie's point of view and his letters, and then when you see the film, it's like we get to see these characters, not just how he sees them. And the character of Patrick, when he's like in the film and stuff, I just think it's perfect. The one I'm most excited about, it's not a movie, but I am excited for Shadowhunters, of course I am.
Oh, I'm really excited. Oh,
I just Shatter Me.
Shatter Me TV.
I never even read it. I'm excited.
I forgot.
Oh
my god.
We got so excited over that over Voxer, me and Sam. Like,
oh my god.
I haven't even read it, and I'm just excited because you guys are excited. I'm like, gotta read that too.
The funny thing is me and Sam were talking about it on like a separate Voxer message, so we didn't spoil you. But the whole time, I thought you were in the conversation, Kristin. So I kept going, well, I'll be careful, won't say anything because if you know Kristin. And then the next day, I was like, Kristin's not in this conversation, so I've been like being really careful, thinking that you were there. But yeah, I'm so excited for that, and I think it's going to be really good because I think we're going to get to see more of like this world that we didn't get to see. So
they're going to flesh out the world so much more.
Speaking of Shatter Me, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, you're fine.
I'm really excited for Miss Peregrine's because Tim Burton. I forgot about that because I just finished Hollow City, and that also looks. I mean, from like the 2 screen shots that we've gotten of like the set, looks awesome. So.
Right.
That is also something I'm really excited about. I think that's way further out than The Martian. So.
Yeah, I haven't read the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children series. I just haven't had an interest in it. But I think I'll probably watch the movie. And not read it. And I know people are going to be like, read it! But it's just like, ah.
The books, I think, are good. I really, really like them. I think it being a movie is going to give it, like, the Perks of Being a Wallflower, this whole another medium and feel. Because the books have the eerie feel because the pictures, but everything else about it isn't that eerie. So I think when you see the actual images of like some of the creepy like things that occur, it's gonna give it more of that creepy. Especially it's Tim Burton, like it's gonna be creepy. So
it's gonna be weird, and it's gonna be. I probably won't watch it because I'll be scared because I'm a big giant baby.
I just spotted a question, guys, that you're gonna love.
Oh.
I've just spotted a question. Well, I'm pretty sure we're all going to say the same thing, and that's why I think it's going to be funny. Someone said, can you think of any trilogies where the second book was actually your favourite, and what are they?
Oh, that's easy. Siege and Storm. Siege and Storm.
I mean, there's no other ansher. There's no other answer.
Yeah. And that's like such a quick question, isn't it? It's like, Siege and Storm, moving on.
And done.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the perfect. Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's like, you know, like when people, this is going to sound really like crazy, but I know you guys are going to get it. You know when like people who are like in couples have songs, like their song? This is like our book.
It really is.
It's like, this is like our book for like our friendship.
It's true. It's true. It's why I haven't read Six of Crows. Everyone's like, why haven't you read it yet? I was like, well, I can't read it with Sarah Jane and Kristin. So like it would feel, honestly, it would feel like really like a betrayal. Like I know like some of the girls from BEA have read it and they're like, read it. And I'm like, I know I could talk about it with them, but I'm like, listen, this is
not
our
the same
friendship book. You know, like I can't. What am I supposed to? So yeah, I'll probably end up reading it before it's released, but like very, very quickly after it'll be, you know, like it'll be released after I read it, so that you guys can like know, because I'm not gonna be able to like sit there and be like, guys, I want to talk about it with you and I can't. You know, like
you don't want to put yourself through that torture either.
Right?
Yeah. I'd be exactly the same actually. I'd be like, I want to read this, but I want to like experience it with you as well.
Right.
That's why
that was like yeah.
Go ahead.
That was like half the appeal. I mean, obviously it's a great series regardless, but it made it so great because we all loved it. We all had like the exact same thoughts about it.
Yeah.
We were all like experiencing it. We were reading it at the exact same time. So that's what made it like so amazing. So.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what made Throne of Glass the series for me a little bit better too,
Yes.
because I read Throne of Glass for myself, and I was like, and then I saw you two were gonna read Crown of Midnight, and I was like, well, I guess I could just tag along, and then Crown of Midnight is a stronger, better second book as well, but it doesn't beat Season Storm.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
That's a good one as well.
Yeah. We can actually start talking about BookTube questions, because we do have a lot of BookTube questions.
Yeah, I've seen some as well in our Q&A.
There's new ones. Yeah, there's new ones in the Q&A. There's ones that were asked on videos and Instagram and stuff. So
they're quite similar though. So
yeah, so a lot of them will overlap.
Okay.
First BookTube video or channel that you watched.
Oh, I know. I just did the actually BookTuber shout out tag. And the person that I found BookTube through was Reagan at Peru's project. But the first video that I watched of hers was not a book-related one. I was really big into the makeup and the gurus and the beauty channels before, and then hers popped up. It was like the 50 emotions tag or something, and it was just a video of her, and it would say like the emotion in the bottom, and she would just like act it out, and there was like this dinky music in the background, like and it was like happy, and she was like, and then it was like sad, and she was like and then I was just like, this is funny. So then I clicked another one, and then like a month later I'm subscribed to like every big name YouTuber, and I was like, okay, booktube is a cool community, and that's where it started from. I was like, oh, and couple years later, here I am.
Right.
Mine was Little Book Owl. That was my first one. Yeah, that was my first one. And then I think from that point on, I found loads all at the same time, because you go on like a subscribing spree. But yeah, she was the first one that I found.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was definitely one of my first ones. I'm trying to think of like the first video that I saw. So I had a very similar situation to what happened with Kristin, where I think my first booktuber I technically watched was Lena from Just Kiss My Frog, who is less of a booktuber now, more of like a vlogger, but she also does talk about books. But she was doing like book discussion-y type videos, which are like my favorite. So I started watching her because she also did beauty videos, kind of, and just like female stuff videos. So I found her, and then I think through her is how I found Little Book Owl, because I think Little Book Owl was my first like actual booktuber.
Yeah.
Before they even had a name for it, like I don't think they were calling it BookTube when I started watching BookTube, and then I go through phases on YouTube where like I'll watch certain communities a lot more than other ones. So I was watching all the beauty gurus at that time, so I only had a few BookTube channels. And then last year, this time last year, right before I started my BookTube channel, is when I rediscovered BookTube and then followed like a ton of them. I don't remember how exactly that happened. I think it might have been, I might have read Cinder maybe or something, and like it continued through there. I don't remember exactly, but I know that Little Book Owl was like one of the first booktubers I watched.
That's funny, because I think the person that pushed me into the booktube community would be Ingrid from Ingrid Nilsson, Miss Glamorazzi, because she was talking about Game of Thrones on one of her, I'm saying 2.5, 3 years ago. She was like, read this book, it's so good. So I started reading that 6 months before I started my channel. I was like, wow, this is a really, really, really good book. So then as I kept reading that year, finding out more people recommending books, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. But I had found BookTube in the middle of me reading it and Glamorazzi telling everybody to read it. So it was like this spiraled from the beauty down into the book community, and I was like, this is awesome. I found it. My life, YouTube, thank you.
Right. Let me see, what was the question what made you decide to start a channel? I know this, we all have asked this before, but obviously it's like a very popular question. It's like, what was the final straw, you're going to start a channel?
My comments were too long. That's actually my reason. I was putting comments on people's videos, and they were just getting to the point where they were like really, really long. You know, Sam, because they've ended up in your spam box when I've done long comments. And like, I think I was just putting these epic comments, and I was like, you know what? If you've got that much to say, why don't you just start your own channel?
Right.
And I did. It was awkward.
For me, I wanted to actually just start a general channel, and then I found the BookTube community, and I was like, okay, maybe I can just like start with books. And I actually wanted to name, fun fact, my channel Life of Poe, because Life of Pi. And my nickname in real life is actually Poe, P-O. No one calls me Kristin. It's so funny. So when I'm on here and everyone's like, Kristin, Kristin, which is fine, it doesn't bother me, but my family calls me Sissy because I'm the sister, so they call me Sissy, and then everyone that's like friends, I'm more like Poe or K-Po. So then on here, when I get called Kristin, like Life of Poe would have fit, but someone had it, so I was like, I guess I'll use my old, this is my old AOL first username was Cap89, and then I just put the X on it, so I was like, whatever. Yeah, so.
Nostalgia.
That's so
And then I was
funny.
just like, let's start Booktube because I was like, I want to be part of this community. These people are so fun. I have things to say about books. I want to be friends with these people, so I'll put my face on the internet. Plus, it was in the summer last year. I didn't have a job coming up in the fall, so I was like, I have spare time.
Right. Might as well.
Yeah, got nothing else to do.
I had a very similar experience where I wanted to do a channel for like a long time because, like I said, I was a part of like I watched beauty channels. I didn't really watch bloggers. I watched a lot of like gamers, like board gamers, and War Machine. No one's gonna know what I'm talking about, but I play a tabletop game called War Machine, and it's like chess on tabletop. That's a whole other situation. I'm not even gonna go into that. But you can watch like people playing that game as well, kind of like you can watch people play video games. So I was watching those videos, and I was like, man, I'm not really an expert in, like, makeup, expert. Not that I'm an expert in this either. But, like, I don't really have anything to say about makeup that I haven't already seen. I don't really have anything to say about gaming, that kind of thing. And both of those communities are kind of vile. Like, the beauty community, since it's all women, gets, like, attacked for just being about, makeup, because heaven forbid a woman wears makeup. And the gaming community, if you're a girl in there, you're just going to get destroyed. So I was just like, you know what, I'm just not going to do anything. And then I was like, I rediscovered Booktube, and I was like, this is perfect. I have things I want to discuss with people. I didn't want to blog at that point. I have a blog now. But I didn't want to blog at that point because it's easier for my personality to come out when I'm talking, obviously. So I didn't want to write stuff out. So I was like, I'll just do this. And then it just kind of went off from there. As soon as I decided to do it, I had my channel made in like a day. Because I have an obsessive personality. Yeah. And I was like, okay, channel name, channel art, okay, let's do this, let's have a Twitter, let's do this. I mean, it was, as soon as I decided to do it, it was just boom, 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 and then it's up. And it's an awkward video. My first video was a review on Strands of Bronze and Gold, which is a fairy tale retelling. And it's awkward, and I was in front of my window, because my window's right here. I didn't have any kind of, like, setup, but it's, you grow. We all can go back and watch our first video and be like, yeah.
I did that for the montage, and it was just like I literally had to shake it off. Like I had to, it made me cringe. And you know what? I think a lot of people who want to make one, they're like, oh, I don't know if I can because it will be awkward. And it's like, just embrace the awkward because you have to be awkward in the beginning. Like it's just a part of it. And I think if anybody is watching and they're like, oh, I really want to start one, but I might be a bit awkward in the beginning, just embrace it. Because to be honest, hardly anybody watches your first video anyway. Yeah. Like, so hardly anyone's gonna see it, If I tell you what, if everybody now is gonna go onto our first videos and go, I'm gonna watch it now, just to make a point. Please, guys, don't. Be like,
I watched your first video.
Oh.
I mean, it's so gross. I mean, yeah, it's so hard to go back and watch those first videos, but like you said, everyone's awkward. Like, I was so proud of my first video. Me too. And I'm still proud of it. But I was, like, so excited. I made Gerald, my boyfriend's name is Gerald, I made him watch it, and I was like, is that good? And he's like, yeah, it's great. And I was like, oh, I'm so excited, like, I was so happy. I learned how to edit through, like, Windows Movie Maker. I was so excited. So your first video, when you put it up, you're going to think it's, like, really good, and that you're, like, I'm leaps and bounds above what I thought it was going to be, so you're all going to be excited about that. And then when you go back, you're going to be like, oh. But, I mean, the first 6 months of having a channel, you progress so fast that even, like, after a month after I had my channel, I would go back and watch the first videos and be like, what? Yeah. And now I go back and watch those, and I'm like, what?
Well, I didn't even look at the lens. I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah.
God. Like,
nobody. I don't think anybody actually looks at the lens because
I do now because where mine is, it's
but when you start.
Yeah, and somebody said to me, they were like, oh, it's really unnerving, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
I could never, I didn't have a viewfinder on my first camera. I had just a normal point and shoot, so I couldn't look at the thing, so I was looking at the lens, which is one, like, achievement, because I never once looked at the viewfinder, and then once I got my camera now that has a viewfinder, I put the viewfinder out to set myself up, and then I turn it around. Like, I don't have the viewfinder out now at all, because it's hard not to look at yourself. Because it's not even like I want to look at myself. It's like it's over here, and you can
see more.
Yeah.
So I close it to this day because it's like I'll look at it, and I don't want to look at it. Once you
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Because you're not going to move that much. Like, this is my filming space.
Yeah.
I can go here and I can go here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But yeah, in the first 6 months, you change so much. I mean, well, to be fair, my hair changes so much. But like, I think I look back now and I'm like, you just get more natural. It's not like you're ever trying to be anything other than who you are anyway.
Right.
But you just get to. I think in the beginning as well, you try to cut out your weirdness.
You do, yeah.
Yeah. And then like as it gets on like later, you're just like, actually, I'm just gonna keep this in because it's me, you know, and it's. I think that you just kind of embrace that. So, yeah, I think if anybody's like thinking of starting a channel, I think you just have to like embrace your weirdness. Yeah. Don't worry about your first video and just accept that it's a learning curve. Because if it wasn't a learning curve, everybody would be doing it.
And you'll also learn your own way of editing around yourself to make still you come across. Because like for me, it was like the first videos I edited, I always wanted my like hair to be perfect, and I was looking straight at the camera and like just deadlock, like hello, I'm here on Booktube, like, I was like, whoa, like you're not a news anchor, like chill with it all. So then you slowly learn just to be yourself and like set maybe yourself up at the beginning, and that's it. And if things start going awry halfway through, that's the way they went.
It happens to this day.
Yeah.
I mean, it just depends. I think there's definitely, like you were saying, there's a way to make sure that you put yourself out there. Just know at the beginning that you're going to be unnatural with it, and don't try to fake natural either. Like, there's definitely videos that you can tell when you find a new booktuber where they've heard this advice about, like, be natural and embrace your weird, but then they almost, like, overcompensate.
Over-weird?
Being too weird, yeah, because you're like, just let the weird out, and it's like, okay, yes, but, like, someone can tell if you're being, like, overly weird. You know? Yeah, there's definitely a balance of, like, people can tell if that's, like, actually your normal. Like, if your normal is that weird, I can tell. But, like, if your normal is not that weird, I can tell. So, like, it's very, you learn to, like, okay, here is me, like, being uncomfortable, and here is me being, like, natural, and here's what's being left in. Because, we edit our videos not to necessarily cut out and put a fake self forward, but to show, like, this is actually who I am here. You know, like, if I'm cursing or if there's, like, hair in my freaking face or whatever, like, that is me, and I'm leaving that in. You know?
Yeah, I think you become more natural, too, because, like, you have more friends, and you're, like, your subscribers, like, you learn to know who they are, so you're like, oh, I'm talking to Sam, Sarah Jane, you know, I'm talking to these people, they're going to watch this, I know they're going to watch it, so it's more like you start to learn to talk to the audience, rather than, like, I'm standing
because you're talking to your friends.
Camera. I'm talking to a camera. Like, that's how you feel the first time, because you're like, nobody who's going to watch it. I don't know. It's just it's in the world, and see what happens. But then later it's like, I'm talking to my friends, and she'll know what I'm saying when I get this joke, or, you know, when I say whatever, so it gets better, it gets easier.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, you definitely, like, I said this in my 1-year video, but, like, I honestly think of when I'm filming a video, like, that I'm talking to friends. Like, like you said, you'll say something, or you'll say a joke, or you'll smile because you're talking about a certain book, and then you'll be like, so-and-so's going to really appreciate that I just said this. You know, because you think you're thinking about your friends, people in the comments that you, like, you know, people that regularly comment and stuff, like, you're thinking about those people. So, you become way more familiar, and it's just more comfortable that way, you know, over time, because you just get used to, you become used to talking to your friends.
I can think of several times where I've addressed, like, both of you. I know once I was talking, I think maybe about, like, Eric, and I was like, you can't have him, Sam.
And I was like, fight me, like, through the camera. Oh my god.
I just did that today, because I was, like I said, I was filming the video, and there were books that Sam told me to get, and I was just like, Sam, you're going to be very proud. And then, like, I held it up, and I forget what I said, like, I still haven't read blah, blah, blah. I was like, and I put it down, moved on. Like, what the hell?
My bad. Connected onto this, somebody asked also, like, why do you think everybody, or that so many people started all at once last year? Like, Booktube blew up last year, basically.
Fate. No.
Destiny.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why everybody started at the same time last year, and this has been asked at, like, Booktube panels and stuff. Like, I think someone asked the same thing at BookCon, to the panel there, and it's just like, it just happened. I don't know if maybe I started my channel specifically around this time too. Also, I just remembered this because Booktubeathon happened last year around this time.
Yes.
And I wanted to participate, so I was like, I'm gonna start a channel. So I don't know if was that the first Booktubeathon? I don't remember. It was the second. Okay, but it was the first, like, really big one, I think, because the first one they did was, like, very small. So I'm not sure if that's something to do with it too, where people are like, I want to participate in this, because Twitter and Booktube, like every Booktuber was like doing stuff for Booktubeathon. So I think maybe the whole world was like, I can jump in and do this, because I definitely was like, oh, I can make friends easier if we're all doing the same thing during Booktube-a-thon. And that is a way to get to know people. So I think that might have had something to do with it, but overall, I mean, communities just get huge. Any YouTube community just like blows up. So eventually. And ours is still fairly small, things considered. But I think that might have had something to do with it. Like, it's just getting so big. So now some of the people who were some of the original people that started it, or that have been around for a lot longer, have like hundreds of thousands of subscribers and stuff. So they're so big that like a greater majority of the public is seeing them. So it's trickling down to more people making channels.
Yep. So. I think you have to have that fat bottom, that pyramid, in order to be on top. So like, because when I started watching like Reagan and Jesse and Katrina and all of them, they only had 27,000 or like 30,000, and now you look and they're up almost into the 6 digits, and it's like, well, yeah, they have so many, because when I was watching it 2 years ago, that was the top, and people having 100 over the bottom, and now it's like the bottom is fatter, so the top has to be, higher, more. They're gonna have more as well, so.
But that was big then, and now it's big now, and it's just different, isn't it?
Right.
So.
Someone was asking, let me make sure that I read this correctly. Like, how do you make friends and grow your channel on? And this is first, before we even address it. Do not do Booktube to have a lot of subscribers, because it, honestly, and people will say like, oh, you guys can't say that because you have a lot. No. Don't, no. And don't do Booktube, like, don't worry about it. Because if you are worried about doing stuff to have subscribers, like if you just want tips for getting more subscribers, like, it doesn't matter. Just to, like, let you guys, like, it doesn't matter. Find your friends on Booktube, because everybody can make friends on Booktube no matter how many you have. Like, I started having friends on Booktube when I had probably 100 or, like, 50. Like, I was making friends. I like Patty of I Smell Books, Joe from Joe Reads Books, Akos, like, so many people that we all started around the same time. Like, I didn't even find you guys until, like, a little later. Even.
Me and Kristin found each other, like, pretty much, like, within the first
day.
The first day.
Yeah, and I remember Kristin saying something to me, and I went, "Hi, first Booktube friends." And we were really excited about it. But I think, obviously, like, some subscribers are going to be your friends. But obviously, I think just because you have that, like, not all your subscribers are your friends, is kind of what I'm trying to say. So, like, obviously people look at it and go, oh, it's great to have loads of subscribers, but, at the end of the day, if you can get yourself a little group of people that you're really good friends with, I think that's all you can really ask for.
That's so much more important.
And I think as far as, like, tips, I think as long as somebody's always polite, like, always be polite, in your videos, because then people are going to want to talk to you. And I think as well, like, I'm not saying don't tag bigger booktubers in stuff, because it's not like they're not approachable. But at the same time, like, when you start a channel, if you find somebody else, like, for example, me and Kristin found each other like ASAP, and we were both at like 100 subscribers for ages, but we constantly kept like shouting each other out and things like that. And I think that's what makes a massive difference. So find a little group where you're all newbies. Don't just like throw yourself together if you don't like each other, but help each other out, rather than just kind of be like, I'm going to constantly try and like not latch on, but like become friends with all the bigger booktubers straight away, and they're just gonna. It doesn't work like that. Find your tribe, and I think just find people that like you've got things in common with. Like, I mean, I remember how I found your channel, Sam, because it was Hannah from Spells and Words. She did a shout out, and she shouted you out, so I went on your channel and I watched a video, and it was something to do with like the bad boys, and I was like, literally, you were like my twin. And we were just like, yes. And it was like that, and I think, find people that you gel with, rather than don't look at people's numbers.
No.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that channel could grow anyway, and even if it doesn't, it doesn't matter. Like, so I think find your tribe. And
find people that you would genuinely be friends with in real life.
Yes.
And yes, it could be those bigger booktubers, but generally speaking, like, here's my advice about, like, and I would say bigger booktubers, they're people too, obviously. Like, I've talked to them, and, like, they're people too. I consider them also, like, friends, people that I know, whatever. But, it's harder to kind of break into a group that's established from, like, how long have they all known each other? Like, 4 years?
So they already have their tribe.
Yeah. And it's not, and that's not saying that they won't make new friends, because they obviously have, and they're, you know, also nice people. But it's harder when they're so established. They're kind of like a different life experience on BookTube than you are.
Yeah.
So, you know, in real life, you gel with people and you find friends when you all are doing the same life experience. You know, like whether you're in school, you're at a job, or whatever. So, taking that same kind of thought, find people who are the same part of BookTube as you are. You know, you just started, find other newbies, because it's so much fun to bond with fellow newbies. It's so fun. And, like, yes, you can, and eventually you'll probably be friends with other people who started at different times than you. I have friends that started all over across the board. But at the beginning, it's so much easier to break into a friend group when you're all new. And, like, the new booktuber tag, I think, is one that's really good to do, because it always pops back up. And, like, the underrated booktuber tag, because those are usually people that have, like, less subscribers, and so a lot of newer booktubers are shouted out. But, like you were saying with tags, tag people to make friends. You know, like, I think I was, to this day, I still tag, like, Kristin and Sarah J in, like, every tag I do. Because it's like, why wouldn't I?
Live on the internet.
But yeah.
I loved it the other day when you were like, it's like my job. And I was like, it is my job.
Yeah. Like,
if I watched a video, and I'll be like, Sam, you didn't tag me. That's what I've done.
How dare you?
Yeah, but, like, you tag your friends and stuff, and, yeah, make sure, as far as finding friends, too, like, Twitter, there's always a conversation around books happening on Twitter. On, like, the book part of Twitter. Like, you gotta get Twitter.
I think another way, too, to find people is Goodreads. It helps you see what people are doing, and join a group on Goodreads. Like, you could do...
Yeah,
like random read-alongs.
Yeah, you know, literally, people can, like, join that group and start talking about the different chapters, and they'll be like, oh, you have a channel. Oh, yeah, so do I. Oh, let's be friends, because we can, like, talk about this book. And I'm not saying, like, pick a book that you're never going to, like, obviously like, but if someone has got a channel and they're talking about this book that they love and you think I'd like that, then read it, because then you can talk about it.
Exactly.
You know, like...
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I make my friends. Like, there's a girl, I forget her first name, but I just started watching her YouTube channel like a month ago, and she just did a book outlet haul with the Helen Hunting books, or Helena, and I was like, oh my god, I just bought those from Book Outlet as well. And she's like, I read the first one, it's so good, gonna pick up the second one. And I'm just like, well, I can't wait till I read them now. So now it's like we're friends, and now she's like, let me know. Okay, I will. So you just have to find somebody you generally like, comment on their video, or tweet them on Twitter, and not expect anything from them. Don't ask anything from them. Just be a general person, like, hey, I like your channel, I'm going to read that book soon, hope you enjoy it, you know, and bye. Like,
like, don't ask people to check out your channel.
I was just about to say that, literally.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
No.
Like, that's the one way where I'm going to probably be like, no, because you're only using me to, like, check out your channel. Like, I will honestly, probably once a month, less often now because of grad school, because I don't have the time to, but usually if I see somebody that probably has a channel name or that comments a lot, just, you know, commenting is a huge thing. Like, comment on people's videos, like, genuine comments, just like we were saying before. If someone has that, I will check out their channel, like, regardless, and most booktubers will. The second you ask me to do it, I'm like, no. You know, because you're using me. Like, and that's not a genuine friendship. Like,
and I think as well, like, get involved with discussions. Like, for example, when you did the Do Writers Owe Fans, I was like, oh my god, I've got so much to say about that. So I filmed a response video, and then we got to talking about that. And I think that was probably when we first started talking, like, loads and loads. And I think, I'm not saying someone has to do a video response, but either do a video response or put a comment that actually has some, like, weight to it, that's got some substance, and then I'm going to click and go and see what your channel is. Whereas if you just put, yeah, I agree with you, check out my channel, I'm just going to be like, no.
Right.
You know? Like, just make an effort. Make an effort. If you put in effort, people are going to put the effort in with you, whereas, you know, basically what we're saying is just don't spam, guys. Just don't spam.
Don't spam, and be a genuine person. With
and you'll be fine.
Have a genuine discussion, and you'll be fine, you'll make friends.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. That's our code of conduct.
Yeah, that is our code of conduct. Somebody asked, and because I'm actually going off of the Q&A right now, do you think it's important for newer booktubers to review, talk about new releases, and is it important to stay on top of new releases? Yes and no.
Yes and no.
It depends. I mean, read the new releases that you generally want to read.
Yes.
And have an idea that you think you would like. For example, when Booktube started, I was buying books that had been out for 2 years. Like, I wasn't reading the big name ones. And then even like recently, for example, the thing just popped in was Red Queen was hyped up so much. And then, have you heard much about it? Not really, because I don't think a lot of people liked it. So you can't just buy new releases because they're hyped up and things that you like. So as a new booktuber, I think you need to maybe find those people that you generally got interested in because of Booktube, those booktubers, and maybe buy 1 or 2 of the books that they recommend. Because now for a year, like for me, I have so many books in my room right now where it's like, do I even want to read that anymore? Because the person that recommended or said it was a pretty good book, it was only like a 3-star book for them, but I bought it because so many people were talking about it, and now I'm just like, what do I need this book for? I want to read good books. Like, that one was only a 3. Like, I'm wasting time. Uh-oh. Did I just get bumped out?
No, you're good. I still see you.
Or Sam, are you out? Oh.
No.
Oh, I just see your circle. It's weird.
Oh, that's you can still see me.
But yeah, so that's what I think. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think sometimes people think that if you talk about the latest books, that's going to equal subscribers as well. Like, I think people think if I get all the books that everybody else is talking about, that means that people are going to really like my channel. And to a certain extent, I can see why somebody would say that, because, you know, if you talk about, you know, A Court of Thorns and Roses when it's just come out, that's where the hype is. But at the same time, if that's the book you genuinely want to read, then read it regardless of, like, who else is reading it. But at the same time, if you read a book series that not very many people have heard of, you could be the person that people remember you for introducing them to these new series. Like, for example, I know I go on about the Fever series all the time, but it's like my thing, and it's not something that a lot of other people talk about. And then I know the Riley, she read it, and she was like, oh, I love this. And then I know that, like, I love the Shifter series, and now you're reading that, and Sean's reading that from Reader's Rambles, and it's like, sometimes bringing a new book to the table is just as valid as loving a book that's been out for ages. So I think, you know,
absolutely.
To a certain extent, you want to stay like current if it's a book you care about, but definitely bring new books to the table, because there are so many booktubers out there that you want to be able to set yourself apart from the rest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And if you can bring a new book to Booktube, even if it's a book that's loved, like Rachel Vincent, she's loved, she's a bestseller, but nobody really talks about her that much on Booktube, and I feel like she's something that I've like kind of brought to the table. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think, if you're bothered about the new release, definitely, but don't be afraid to like talk about stuff that nobody's heard of, because you might make a massive difference to that one person, and then they will shout you out, and then, you know. So just do what you want, not based on what you think other people might like, and that might get you the most subscribers, I guess.
Riley is here.
What is Riley in the Fuse Love Fever series? That's funny. The same thing, what Sarah Jane and Kristin were saying, as far as, don't feel like you need to read the new releases. Like, especially if you're going out and buying your books. Like, if you're not going to the library, you're buying your books. Like, don't feel like you have to buy books that you really don't want to read just because you need to stay up on new releases. Because it's just not worth it. And the hype comes and goes so fast. Like you said with Red Queen, like everyone was talking about it, and then no one talks about it anymore. Even A Court of Thorns and Roses, which we're doing the live show for, and we're gonna read it like after everybody else, but that's pretty much dropped off after like the first week. So I think, like you're saying, definitely find books that you really appreciate and talk about those books. And it can be an old book, it can be, you know, a new book, whatever. And along with that, like, if I find a channel that they're talking about what everybody else is talking about, I'm just like, I've heard this.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't need to. I have 8 people who read the same kind of book, and I don't need to watch this channel because they're not giving me anything new. Like, I follow a variety of channels. I want variety in my feed. Like, I don't want to be watching the same. Oh, here's the same book haul with the same books, or here's the same review for the same book that just came out today that 8 other people have reviewed. You know,
and also, I was gonna say also, it's important to review a book to how you really feel about it. Whereas I think staying on top of new releases is one thing, but don't stay on top of it in the sense of like, oh, everybody loved it, so I better give it 4 stars even though I didn't really like it.
Exactly.
You know, we've all been there where we think, oh my god, I'm the only person who didn't like this book. But you know what? Right. Sometimes you can bond with people just because they didn't like the same book as you.
Yes, I don't like Gail Foreman, and the other day, because I know Riley's watching, Riley in her video, she's like, I'm not really a big fan of Gail Foreman. I was like, thank God. I was like, because I felt like I was the only person that didn't get it. I was like reading it, and I was like, it's not that good. But then you find somebody else that doesn't like it, and you're like, okay. And it's like a little bit of trust starts being built in that booktuber. It's like, I trust you. You don't like the same one I don't like, so maybe our book taste is very similar.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
We can't like everything at the end of the day.
Exactly.
I mean, I really didn't like Beautiful Disaster, and then Sam, you read it and you didn't like it either. And it's like, oh, okay, so we both have that same opinion. And then if we both read another book and we have a different opinion, it's something else to talk about. Whereas if everybody's just going, loved it, loved it, loved it, this is new out, and I'm going to give it 5 stars, it's like, that's not really, if you genuinely love it and want to give it 5 stars, then do, but, you know, it's not the be-all and end-all to read the recent releases, although it is fun.
Right. Since we kind of got on this topic anyway, somebody asked, how do you deal with not liking a book that everyone else does? Does it make you worry to talk about how you don't like it for fear of criticism, or you just say it outright and not get worried what other people think?
Second option.
Right. Like, I do not care. If I don't like a book, I will tell you. But I will say that when, shortly after starting my channel, The Young Elites by Marie Lu came out, which was, I was so excited. And I did not like it. It was a 2-star book for me, and everyone was talking about it, and everyone was raving about it, and she was a very well-loved author. I'd never read the Legend series, but she's very well-loved. I was petrified to put up my review. Like, petrified. I filmed the most professional review possible and made, like, you can go back and see how, like, very edited it is, not just because of cutting out, like, my personality, but just because I was worried about saying something that someone would twist the wrong way or whatever. But, like we said, it's a way to bond with people if you don't like the same book. People appreciate your honesty. Like, how would people appreciate your honesty? And, like, if you don't like it, like, there's no reason to tear apart a book.
No.
There's no reason to tear apart an author. That's your choice if you want to, but, you know, there's no reason to do that. I personally will not attack an author of a book on a video or anything if I don't like them. There's plenty of authors I don't like, but I don't do it on videos or anything. But people appreciate you being honest, and then people can kind of, you know, decide, like, oh, you like these kind of books, you don't like these kind of books, so I can trust your opinion because that's how I feel about books. So people can really find a good reviewer that way. Because if somebody likes, there's a lot of people that like a lot of books, and that's fine, but if somebody's a little more critical of what they read, it's easier. And some people don't like doing negative reviews, but negative reviews can actually lead people to a book, because there's been plenty of negative reviews I've seen. People have been like, oh, I don't like love triangles, and there's a love triangle in this, and I'm like, oh, I'm okay with love triangles, so I could probably read that. Or, you know, I don't like the bad boy, oh, I just hate the alpha male, and I'm like, oh, I love that, you know? So, like, negative reviews don't necessarily mean that, like, you're going to steer people away from a book. Like, someone might potentially read that book based on the reasons that you didn't like it.
Yep.
So, as long as you're being respectful about it, like, there's no reason to be scared. I understand that, like, some people don't handle critique of their favorite books well, and that's their own personal problem, because if you can't appreciate somebody disliking something you like, that's your problem.
We actually had a question about that specifically. It was like, what do you do when someone doesn't like your favorite book? And it's like, it's fine. It's absolutely fine, as long as somebody goes, like, for example, like, you guys know I love the Fever series, but if you read it and you went, you know what, it's not for me, I'd be like, okay, cool, let's move on. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh my god, it's the best, because I like it for certain reasons. But, you know, I mean, someone could say, oh, I don't like a book that's got bad language, and that doesn't bother me. So it's as long as somebody is respectful and polite, even if we're not polite, like, I did not like this book, goodbye. Like, you know.
I mean, like, watch my Beautiful Disaster review. I'm like, this fucking is just you know, like, but I mean, I'm not attacking anybody that likes the book. I'm like, you can choose to like this book, but I think it's vile, you know? Like, so
well, I would still class that as polite.
Yeah, exactly.
I just, like, I think, you know, if somebody went, oh, this book is stupid because, and like really sort of attack things, that I'd be like, whoa. But if someone's like, I don't like this plot point because I found it offensive, because I thought this storyline was abusive or whatever, it's like, that's fine.
You have a reason. You just have to be educated in your reasoning and why you don't like it, not just saying, you know, this sucks, and then you know, just then blasphemy for about 10 minutes and then sign off. Like, no, there's got to be a general reason as to why you don't like it.
Yeah, just
and like, people are just going to unsubscribe because you didn't like a book, you know. And even if they did, bye bye. Like, you know, if someone doesn't like my channel enough that they can't stick around if I don't like a book, then that's fine. That's their choice. Like, you can't please everybody, and I have no desire to please everybody.
No, and they can be very hard. Like, if you don't like a certain author or a certain series, then you might be a little nervous. Like, I have flat out said a lot of times, I don't think Throne of Glass is the best series ever created. I don't. And I know a lot of people are like very defensive of Throne of Glass. I think it's okay, but I don't think I think it's problematic at a lot of times, and I think that there's a lot of flaws in it. But as long as you say that like nicely, and there's also parts I do like about it. You know, there's things that I think are really great about that series. So as long as you exactly, as long as you say, you know, both things, you know, what you liked, what you didn't like about something. Even if you hate a book, there's typically something that you did like, even if it's very small. And you say that, then people, like I said, people will be drawn to books. Whether you write a positive review or a negative review, people will find a way to filter out what you're saying to be like, I would like that or I wouldn't like that. So voicing a negative opinion for fear of people criticizing you, you know, what's that, like, Dita Von Teese quote? You can be like the ripest, juiciest peach in the world, and some people just won't like peaches, you know? So
that's good.
So that's just, you know, you can be as nice and, you know, about a book or whatever, and some people are going to be like, well, fuck you, and you'll be like, okay, bye. You know?
Nobody's ever going to have a channel that absolutely everyone is going to love every single video, and you're never, like, not going to get any, like, thumbs down and things like that. Like, I get thumbs down for the most weird reasons. Like, I mean, sometimes, I can't remember what I did. It was like I think it was like a book tag, and it was just like, within like 5 minutes, somebody had gone boom, and I was like, fine.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Like, you know, because not everybody is going to like my channel, and I'm completely okay with that, because I think if you start trying to like blunt your edges, you just don't have any edges.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I like some edges.
Do we want to move into life or book questions? Or
I think there's still a lot of Booktube questions.
So
the ones that I've seen. So yeah, we can still do Booktube questions.
Guys, you're going to laugh at me, but my window's open and it's getting really dark, and I think a moth's going to come in, so I'm literally just going to go close my window, because for the last hour I've been looking at my window, and if a moth comes in, I'm going to start running around and screaming, so this is probably the better option. So
leave it open then.
We're just taking a brief intermission.
Right. For fear of moths.
That's so funny. I have a couple that we can ask, or we can always pick one from the side.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I think there's a couple on the side, and there's stuff that I have too. So.
I hope nobody saw my Care Bear pajama shorts.
I didn't see it, but I wish I did.
I'm sorry, but you know,
it's okay.
Not fashionable.
There's a pretty big upvoted question about how do you guys feel about non-book videos on Booktube channels?
Ooh.
It doesn't bother me.
Doesn't bother
me either.
I subscribe to many types of YouTube channels. I have, you know, home decor. I have beauty. I have DIYs. DIYs. I have so many different things. So if you I won't even notice half the time. I'll just go, oh, you know, so and so uploaded a Target haul video. It's not me. Like I'll watch it, and if it's something I don't want to watch, I'm not gonna unsubscribe. It's just I'm subscribed to over like almost 300 YouTube channals, so pretty sure if there's one channel you put out that I'm not gonna watch, not gonna detriment my life, I have like another 400 that I gotta get to. So for me, it's fine. I mean, as long as you don't claim to be like you're only gonna put book videos on here and never ever you're gonna falter, and then you do, like, I'm not gonna be mad about it. It's okay. Just don't have to apologize or anything. Just put out whatever you want. It's your channel.
I was going to say, I think that's what gets me the most, is when people apologize, or when like somebody says, you know, do you want it on this channel or do you want a separate channel? And I just think, do what you want, do what you're comfortable with. Like, you know, I've put out a couple of videos that aren't strictly book related. Like I did the Supernatural Convention one, and then like the one about the actual like campaign. And some of the comments I got on those were like the nicest comments, because people get to know like a little bit extra about you as a person. Like, you know, like Sam, when you did your like anxiety one, and it's like, you know, it's like I was saying about like having these edges. If you try and put yourself in a too perfect box, you're just not going to have anything unique about yourself. And if you decide you don't want to put anything personal up, that's completely fine too. But I think sometimes, like, yeah, you're doing it obviously for fun, and like you want to have people watch your videos and stuff, but just do whatever. It doesn't bother me at all if someone puts out like a non-bookish video, because I find it fun. If I don't want to watch it, I don't watch it, and if I do want to watch it, I'm like, oh, I've learned something new about this person.
Right. Yeah, it can really give a sense of your personality and stuff. Like most of my videos have all been revolving around books for the most part, but just because that's my personal preference. And I will in the future. I'm going to be doing like gaming videos, like not game walkthroughs, just talking about games and stuff like that. But yeah, like I don't care if like you said, if I don't want to watch it, I won't watch it. But there's no need to make like 6 different channels for all your different hobbies. Like it really, you know, your channel is about you ultimately. And, you know, if that's a part of your personality and it's a really big, and you want to talk about it, and you're like not having fun with Booktube and you want to do like other things, That's totally fine. And most people will support you, and if they don't, then again, bye. Like,
Yeah.
that's fine. You know,
Oh,
like, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm totally okay with them, and I like seeing them. Like, I know Sana of Inkbones Books, who's in here. Hi, Sana.
Hi, Sana.
I love her beauty videos. Like, I'm just like, yeah, girl, show me that lipstick.
Yes,
You know? Like, I love it.
Her mauve eye look, the one she just did. I was like, I was wondering how you did that.
Right.
So I'm like, yes.
Yeah. So I like seeing those. Like, or if someone's gonna do like document your life. I know you guys are doing like document your life videos. I'm lazy and I have a boring life, so I don't do them. But I like watching them. You have little bunnies. Well, I guess I have cats. I can just like, here's my cats every day. That would be my document your life.
Well, they are dogs and cats. Dogs.
I know. They're so cute. So,
speaking of that, I did have a question, a life question, and I think it's relevant to this point. It was, do you prefer cats or dogs? So,
well, anything fluffy.
I'd say dogs, but you know what? Since having you two as friends, like, I've become more of a cat person. Like, I was never a cat person before, ever. And then I'm just like, oh, look what Tika's doing, and you know, and like, I just kind of, I feel like I know all of your cats so well, and like we were saying the other day in our like private conversations, that if any of our pets are ill, we're like, give us updates, let us know how they are, and like we genuinely care. So I am more of a dog person, but you know what, I feel like I need to get a cat and like join this cat crew.
Yes, join the pride of cats.
Yeah.
See, for me, I love cats, and cats are my thing. There's like, if you look at a timeline of my life, like all the photos from when I was little to now, like there's times where I'm just holding cats. I'm like 2, 3 years old. It's not that I don't like dogs. It's just I'll get on the ground with any animal that's furry and fluffy and wants to be cuddled. But like if I'm gonna own one, it's gonna be a cat. And it's so funny story. When I was in kindergarten, her kindergarten class went to a farm to visit, and we like saw the cows, you know, like cat and milking, yay, and like whatever. And my mom was like, I turned around in the barn and I couldn't find you, and I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, I couldn't find you. And then all of a sudden you were in the corner of the one cow, the cow's like corral, and you were laying with a litter of kittens, like no other child. You're just in the corner with kittens, like, and I'm like, where's my child?
Oh my God.
She was like, you just always loved cats. So that's why they got me a cat when I was 3. Like, my parents never had cats their whole life, and they got me a cat, and he was a creamsicle orange and white tabby, and I named him Figaro because the cat in Pinocchio is named Figaro. Yeah. So I was like, Figaro.
That's
so like,
cute.
I've always liked cats. It's just my spirit animal. It's a kitty.
Yeah, I like both. I never had any animals really growing up until I was a little older because my mom's allergic to cats and dogs. So we got a Shih Tzu when I was like in 6th grade or something. So I had her until I left and moved out to the East Coast. And then when I moved out to the East Coast, well, a little before actually, when I moved out of my parents' house is when I got a cat. And I still have her. Her name's Kit. And we like inherited her from my friend's aunt. So we had her. And then when I moved into this house a year ago, when I started my channel, is when we got Binks. And Binks is like the Booktube kitty because he like I showed him in one video. He was in my my blooper reel kind of thing that I had. But I've had him for the past like a year, and then these girls know. But we're kind of fostering / we're gonna keep a stray that we found. We're gonna keep him again. We were like on the fence about it. So we're gonna have 3 cats. So basically, I have a pride of cats. And I love them, but I also love dogs, and we're gonna get a dog at some point. Like,
we bonded, didn't we? Because we like the same breed.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys talk about your favorite breed for a second?
This is how Sarah Jane and I have also bonded.
Oh, King Charles Cavaliers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had one as a child, as you two know, but other people probably don't know. And they are just like my most favorite dog in the world. And then I was talking to you, Sam, about them. And it turns out that where you are, there's not many of them, is there at all?
Right.
And where I live, there's loads. So we've kind of hatched this plan where Sam's going to come over to England, get a Cavalier, and like...
Right, and bring it back. Like, rescue one. Because you can't find them in rescues over here in America, really. So I want to rescue a dog really bad, but like you just can't find Cavaliers. So I was like, I'll come to England and see you and get a Cavalier because that's the kind of dog I'm going to get. So at some point, you guys will see a Cavalier in my videos.
Yeah.
So,
I want one so bad.
They're so cute. So as far as Booktube and stuff, again, what was your most rewarding experience since starting / greatest achievement Booktube related? then it's very hard.
I've got two, I guess. I think one of them was when I started getting the arcs, because like I'd never created a channel like to hope to get arcs, like that wasn't a thing. And then I think I was quite lucky really, because I got an email about it in January, I think, and so I'd only had my channel since July, and I got this email
from reached out to you too.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
you didn't
they reached out to me, and they were like, "Oh, you really like your channel," and I was like, "Oh, like, you know," and I didn't really. It was so unexpected that was really rewarding, because it was something that I never set out to hope for. And I guess the other one would probably be doing the video on the Always Keep Fighting campaign. And again, that's a non-book related video, but so many people left nice comments with that, and it was just like, and lots of people were saying that like that video helped them, and it was like, really? So that's really rewarding.
Yeah, those are yeah. Look, I'm already, guys. We can't be doing this because I'm gonna get misty. You see me? I'm like blinking. I'm like, they can't see on the webcam. Yeah,
I saw you in the down below because you're next to me when she was talking, and I see your eyes.
Because you're looking, you're waiting for Sam. You're like, Sam's gonna start crying. I think, yeah, like the biggest things have been the friends I've made through Booktube. These girls, as well as other people, it's been awesome. I've said before how I live kind of far away from all of my friends. My best friend is about an hour and a half away in Philadelphia, and then I moved away from my childhood home, so I'm on the East Coast away from everybody, and a lot of my other friends are just scattered around the country. And then obviously some of my friends are international now with like Sarah J and stuff, so I don't have, you know, like a friend outlet all the time. So Booktube has been really great as far as that. So just making friends has been, like, I consider an achievement. I think getting to go to BEA was like a huge achievement, like most rewarding experience, because just in general, like meeting people that you like that have watched your videos is this like surreal, weird, rewarding experience.
That's never happened to me before, but then I've got a book convention like next week, and it might do, and it's like, I think that must be a really lovely thing.
It's like a surreal, like, especially when someone comes up to you. I remember a girl that came up to me at BookCon and was just like, you know, I just love your videos so much, and like you're so like eloquent. I love your book chats, and like thank you so much for making videos. You're just kind of like, thanks, you know, or like some of the beautiful comments that I've gotten on the 1 year on Booktube video about people being like, you know, like you've changed my life. And, like, you know, like, thank you so much, and, like, you're such an inspiration to me, and, like, stuff like that. It's just kind of, like, and then, obviously, for me, the same kind of thing with what Sarah Jane was saying, the anxiety video, which I've gotten emotional about before, so I'm really going to try to hold it together, has been my most rewarding, because, like I said, I have people that have commented, been like, I felt so alone until I saw this video, or, like, I was having panic attacks today, and I saw this video, and it made me feel better, or, you know, like, my kid was displaying symptoms of anxiety, and I didn't know until you posted this video that that's what it could have been. And so for me, like, because I feel so, like, strongly about, like, anxiety and mental illness and stuff, to have somebody be like, I'm going to help my child who, like, you know, because I didn't get help when I was little because my parents didn't know. Like, my parents didn't know any better. So, like, for that, that's huge and very rewarding. And that's, like I said, like a non-book related thing, but to hear those kinds of, the feedback that you get from those kinds of experiences has been really awesome.
Which is why I think people should never be afraid to like put up a non-book related video, because sometimes like you can really connect with the person because of like the books they read and stuff, and then you find out something about them and you're like, oh, you're just like me. And sometimes we need that to stop putting things in boxes and like as if they're not connected. Like I always, every now and again, like in a video, I'll say, oh, you know, I have chronic fatigue or whatever, and it's not because I'm constantly saying it because I want people to know it and feel sorry for it.
Right, like not like a pity thing.
No, but it's like, I get so many comments like, oh, me too, and it's like, yay, you know, I mean, somebody commented the other day and said like they're literally like just being diagnosed with it, and it's like, if I can sort of help someone in that way, that makes it all worth it. So, you know, I guess that's probably a massive help.
Yeah.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah, for me,
got the fuzzies.
For me, it's just been getting to know like the community, and because in my life, it's not that I'm an introvert or an extrovert. I just prefer to like be in my room by myself. But if I have to go out, it's okay. But everyone in my life doesn't really read the books that I do, or even read on the scale that I do. Like they read like 2 books a year. Like that's a thing. So for me, it's like I didn't have anybody in the sense just to like chat about books and like talk about video games and talk about random things that are occurring in, the media with, TV shows or movies. So to join this community, I have an outlet for that now. And my friends don't really know about my channel, but I think now that when I hang out with them, I don't think they notice that I don't talk about books as much, because I'm the type of person, I'm like, oh, you see the trailer for this news coming out? And they're like, what movie? And I'm like, oh, you haven't seen it? And they're like, no, I don't know what it's about. And I'm like, well, let me tell you about it. I'm going to talk about it anyways. So now it's that doesn't happen as often, which I'm sure is nice for them too, because they don't know. And it's not that I'm hiding it from them. I just feel like they're not going to care either way. So what's the point of being like, oh, I have a Booktube channel? It's just never, I don't see them often, and when I do, it's not in the way. So I don't have to say about it. But for me, the biggest achievement is just having somebody to talk about books. Oh, look who's coming for a visit. Come here.
Tita, Rebel. We all change our voices. We're like,
she's coming. Come here. So for me, it's just been getting to know other people and stuff. She's just checking it out, what's going on over here.
Yeah, she's like, why am I not involved?
Come here.
Come on, Tika.
See? Sounds like she just ate.
Oh.
You just eat.
You can hear her talking.
Can you? By the microphone?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
My cats are locked out because they will be a hot mess trying to get on the shelves. It'll just be, it wouldn't be pretty. So they're stay out.
She usually tries to lay, and she'll put her face here's my keyboard. She'll put her face right here.
Right, to be
watch the video. Yeah.
And I'm
she sent me your face out of here.
Her looking at my video, and I was just like, ooh.
It's so cute.
What are you doing?
I love we all have our animal voices.
We do. I mean, you can't speak to animals like you speak to people. You have to speak to them in this code. Yeah, no, there's a code.
Yeah.
That's how you speak to them. So going from a high point, not to a low point, but just to a middle point, have you ever felt discouraged and wanted to stop making videos for some reason during the course of your Booktube experience?
Yeah.
No, I have not.
I have, because I feel bad when I get really busy and I can't upload videos. I feel really disconnected. And then for the people that have subscribed to my channel, I just feel bad, because it's not that they're waiting on bated breath for a video, but that I'm not connecting with them. I feel I'm letting them down. And again, with my job and my real life, it's not exactly a good thing to be on social media. It's looked down upon a lot because of things that happen with teachers and students. And it's at the same time, I'm it's not I'm up here half naked talking about the erotica books and things like that, and telling no, that's not what it is. I'm just talking about books I like and don't like, and in a mostly professional way. Maybe I'm a little goofy, but that's how I teach anyway. So if you don't like it, then I guess your kid doesn't have to come to my school. But for me, it's just those are when I hear people say be careful what you put on the internet and stuff. I'm maybe I should just cold turkey, all of it gone, and whatever. But I think there's a reason why I'm sticking around and still putting out content, and I think it's because at some point in my life there's going to be a career change. I really do. I don't know what or where or when, but I think there will be. And when there is, I think YouTube is still going to be a proud moment of my life. I don't think it's ever going to be a moment where I'm that was the worst decision of my life.
Right.
So there has been moments, but they're only moments because of the job that I'm in. If I was in a different profession at any point, it's just because I'm a teacher and looked at by the community and everything, it's a little different. And I think that comes from too, if I was, I don't want to say a bigger booktuber, but if I did have a lot of things going on and I was a bigger booktube, I don't think it would look as strange, I guess you would say. But because I am a little littler, and people just take that as you're just a weird person putting your videos on the internet. You know what I mean? That's what I think. You have no grounds to be here. It's okay, cool.
Yeah, people outside of Booktube don't quite understand.
Yeah. And it's
I've never really thought, oh, I don't want to do it anymore, but I have thought, was this the best idea? Because my energy goes down so quickly and stuff, I kind of think, well, was this the best idea to do? Because I've just kind of put something else on my plate. And there's always going to be people out there who go, oh, well, you can sit at home and make videos, so why can't you go out and do such and such? Or, oh, how can you be that tired if you can sit there and edit videos and things? And sometimes I think am I almost like putting evidence out there for people to think the opposite of what I'm telling them? But then I think at the same time, like, it's my life, and I'm not going to stop doing it just because it might confuse somebody, because I think that's where there's a lot of, like, people are misunderstanding of, like, the condition that I've got. So there was a point where I was like, am I kind of putting almost like the opposite evidence out there? Does that make any kind of sense? And then I was just like, you know what? Got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let it go. Let it go.
Oh, no.
It keeps falling out.
I have had, I've never thought I was ever going to stop. I've never wanted to stop, but I think I've also had the same kind of experience of like, wow, your timing is shit, because I started 6 months before grad school. I hadn't gotten into grad school when I started because I got in the fall, but I was still like, really, Samantha? But at the same time, it's just like, that's kind of how I roll. Like, I like having, not like I'm super busy, because, I mean, I guess it depends on people's idea of busy, but yeah, I've never wanted to stop because of grad school or stop because of work or anything like that. And yeah, as of yet, I haven't been discouraged. I've been very fortunate in that it's not like I've gotten like hate or anything. Like, I'm sure if someone has been like attacked, I think the closest hate I've gotten was around the time of the blogger booktuber discussion that was happening. And even that was like nothing. And if anything, that hate was more like motivating, because it was like, you know, deal with it. You know, this is a community. But yeah, I've never really been discouraged or wanted to stop or anything. But on the same kind of question, how do you juggle BookTube with like reading and life, and like for me, like grad school and like work and whatever? Like, how do you juggle all of that so that you can still read and do things with life and stuff?
It's weird because I don't really have much else going on. Like, I always feel really bad, and I know you guys like never view it like this, but like, you know, Kristin, you'll be at work all day, and then you'll come back, and Sam, you'll have like, you know, had a big drive and, you know, gone to work and stuff, and then I'm like, oh guys, I just got up, and I was just like, I could feel really bad about that, but obviously at the same time, like, it's because of like the condition that I've got, and I know you guys you get it, but I guess for me, like, some people would look and think, well, it's fine for her to keep on top of it because she wakes up and has these days where there's like nothing in front of us. But it's not that simple, because there are so many days where I can't film. Like, for example, the actual announcement for this, I wanted to get the video up, but I just wasn't well enough because I tried to film it and I was like, hey guys. It was just like, I just looked so tired. I was like,
your eyes closed.
Yeah, and I looked like a little bug, just like,
Little bug.
because I didn't even want to like do my hair because I felt so ill, so my hair was all like this, and I was like, hey guys. I was like, no. And I think I don't have loads and loads of other stuff going on, but I think if you're really passionate about something, you make time for it, regardless of what your situation is, like whether you're like at work or whether, like my situation, I'm not like well enough a lot of the time. The only thing sometimes I film videos when I should be writing.
And you should be.
Yes.
But we want
Yes.
want it.
Yes. Or like I edit videos. I open up like my Word document and I'm like, right, let's write like 2,000 words, and I'm like, oh, I could edit that video now. So.
Right.
But it's just finding the balance.
I procrastinate against editing at all times. I think I have like 7 videos right now. I'm like, yeah, I should edit. Or I could go to Dunkin' Donuts and get an iced coffee.
Oh, we've just got Dunkin' Donuts in the UK. I just want to say, like, you know,
I was going to ask you today.
Yeah, we have them, and I'm very passionate about Dunkin' Donuts.
For me, I would say balancing time is okay. It's just when I coach and when I teach and all of that, and then trying to balance reading and recording, you are a busy bee. Yeah, it falls over into my Sundays, and then Sundays are also like, you know, church and breakfast with the family, and then prepping for the week. So it's very crazy. That's why you'll see like now in July and August like a ton of videos flying at you because I have the time. But then coming back to the school year, there's not that much time, and it just gets a little crazier. And I think the one way I get through it is just to be prepared and to prep. And to know that when you are busy, if you don't read a book and you have 2 books to review that month, then that's what you have. And your subscribers have to understand that. And then if they don't like it, then they can unsubscribe. And that's that. I mean, you know, so that's all you have to, you just get used to it and just be honest with your subscribers and your viewers so that they know you know, the next couple months, you might not see me for a couple weeks, and that's gonna how it goes. But if you want to keep following me, you know, you can, and if not, then oh well, I'll miss you, but bye.
I had people unsubscribe once when my laptop was in for repair, and it was in for repair for like a month, and then I got it back, put one video up, and then it went off for repair again. So I think I put one video up in like 2 months, and some people like unsubscribed, and I was like, okay, like if they don't want to wait, like that's absolutely fine. But at the same time, like there's no channel that I would go, oh, I don't want to watch you anymore because you haven't put a video up for a couple of weeks. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't really,
and I think all three of us, like, the way we do get around all that is audiobooks, because I know Sam drives to go to Philadelphia. I drive, my school is an hour away from me, so I do that. And then Sarah Jane, you've talked about it, like, before you go to bed, or because you can't hold up a book. Yeah, so, like, for us, Overdrive, and I didn't use Audible for a while, but now I do, and I like it because, like, I have, like, a couple books, like An Ember in the Ashes and A Court of Thorns and Roses, that I want to read this month, but I have an Audible credit, so if it comes to a point where I'm not going to have the time because of driving and working and getting chores done, I'll just get the audiobook, which helps out massively because I'm relaxed then, too, and as much as I like music, I have the audiobooks. So that helps you get around as well. So, yeah, that's how I usually get some of the readings done.
We just can't put pressure on ourselves. Like, the more pressure we put on ourselves, like, the less fun it will be.
Well, yeah, you want to enjoy it then. You'll just put the audiobook on 4 times. You're listening to it like, this is so much fun, what'd they say?
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as me with, like, school and work and reading and Booktube, I get this question a lot, actually, about, like, grad school and stuff. I will admit that, like, I'm really good at juggling things and knowing when you have to devote more time to school or work or whatever. I'm very fortunate in that I work from home a lot of the times. When I do have to work, I have to drive to Philadelphia, which is 2 hours one way. But usually it's only like twice a week, and then I work from home a lot. So I have a lot of freedom with my schedule and stuff, and my job allows me to do schoolwork during work hours if I have my work stuff done, because I'm going to school for what I'm doing. I'm going to school for social work, and I'm a social worker. So they are very understanding about graduate school. Also, I fully admit that I procrastinate doing certain things by doing other things. Yeah. So if I have a paper to write, and these girls know because I talk about it all the time, like I do not write my papers. Like I'll be talking about my papers for a week, but then I won't be fully writing it until like 2 days before because I procrastinate. Yeah, because I'm gonna redo my whole blog out, like theme, or I'm gonna film like 5 videos. I mean, like I pre-film videos. Like if I'm filming a video, I'm probably filming at least 3, if not more. Yep. And so then I have them backlogged, so that if anything comes up, I already have them. I will take a break from like doing schoolwork to edit. Like I actually like editing. Kristin said that she likes it. Yeah, Sarah Jane and I both like editing. So like I like it, and I'll do that to like take time away or whatever. Or like while I'm editing and the video's like rendering or uploading, I'll be reading. So yeah, or like before papers due, I'll all of a sudden get really into a book and read the whole book. So it's kind of like juggling. I'm also somebody who, and this depends specifically on your specific program, if you're going to graduate school or if you're just in normal college or university. I fully believe that sometimes for certain classes, you don't have to do everything. Like some people will read every single assigned reading. If that's required for your school, like you're going to have an assignment for it or whatever, then yeah, like you have to do that. But like for a lot of classes, I think that you don't always have to read. Like you have to filter out and figure out what you have to do. Like and they're like, don't give that advice. But honestly,
no, I'm laughing because I got through my whole degree without reading one assigned reading.
Yeah, like you don't always have to. And if you're the kind of student who's like, no, I need to read those assigned readings, that's fine. But like there are times it's like, okay, that chapter is not going to be relevant for an assignment, for a test, or for a paper. Why am I going to read that? I'm an adult that has a job and that does Booktube and that has to read. You kind of have to filter things through your life. Like I don't have a lot of friends close by, so I'm not like going and hanging out with people. My boyfriend lives with me, so I see him every day. So like I can be hanging out and like editing, and he can be sitting next to me, and that's our like hangout time. So it's not like we need to go on like dates and stuff or whatever. So like it's it depends on your life and kind of filtering stuff in. Like I said, my whole life exists in procrastinating something by doing something else. That's how I do stuff, and that's kind of and like I said, and pre-filming and pre-editing and making sure that you have all a lot of videos done for the next coming week and stuff like that. So that's me.
So I have a question. So we were talking about editing. Someone said, if you didn't edit your videos, how long would they actually be?
Oh, that's a good question. Too
Oh,
long.
man.
For me, it depends on the video. Some videos I like getting right in front of the camera and like bang it out, and all I gotta edit out is my ums and me looking down. Other than that, some videos it'll take a while, especially tags, because I hate reading the question wrong, but I also hate reading the question when I'm like this.
Right.
So I have to like read it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, wait, what? And then I read it again. And I'm like, how do people act in movies? I remember like paragraph upon paragraph of lines. I can't even remember like a 10-word question. Like, So
I couldn't even do
those
it.
are usually the longest.
Like, I did like 6 takes for one question in like the Mean Girls book tag, and it's like, you made this question up. Like, seriously. Videos take me ages to film. Like, somebody's actually asked, like, what condition do I have? So I'll just explain it quickly. I have ME and fibro, which you guys know. But because of that, I find filming videos really hard because, like, I get this thing like brain fog. So I'll say the wrong thing. Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes it's funny, and I'm like, I'll save that for a blooper. But sometimes I'm just like, you just said something that makes no sense, and I'll forget what I'm saying, and I'll go, and so, like, it takes me a long time to film them because I find it hard to concentrate, and sometimes, like, I'll have to film a bit, and then I'll have to, like, take a break and come back. So, it takes me ages, and if I had to film, like, and put up the whole thing, it'd be awful. Or you'd see me, like, walking around to my bookshelves, and it'd be like, oh, she's wearing a t-shirt, but she's also wearing pajama bottoms. You know, that wouldn't be good.
Yeah, as far as for mine, I find that wrap-ups are the ones I have to edit the least for some reason. I don't know why that is. They're obviously very long, but for some reason it's easier for me to do those. But yeah, like a wrap-up is usually like at least a 20-minute long video that's edited down, sometimes a lot, sometimes not. Book hauls tend to take a little longer because I don't necessarily remember what the book is about.
Yeah, I hate that.
So you have to like read the back and be like, okay, it's this, you know, even
It's
though
just
like I know I want to read it. Yeah.
Yeah, like you gotta clip out the like 40 seconds if you just like.
Yeah, exactly. And like the discussion videos that I do, sometimes those have to be edited a little bit because my discussion videos I usually do on the fly. I'll have like a brief idea of like a few points I want to hit, but I'll be saying something. I'll be like, wait, it'll be phrased better this way. So those usually I'll have a lot of you know, edits because like it's just the phrasing of things and like, oh, saying it this way actually gets the point across better. So those have a lot of editing, but yeah, like I
always fill up a memory card. That's, you know.
Yeah.
You do? Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if I think I filled it up once, but that's because I had like a low. I remember
How
like
big is
filming.
the memory card?
I had like one, like my camera's high speed, but the memory card I had wasn't. So like the first couple videos that I did, I could only film like 7 minutes, and then I'd have to like put it on the computer and then like put it on the next video. And I went, and they were like, "That's because you have the wrong type of memory card." And I was like, "What do you mean?" What?
Like
then I had to buy the
16
expensive high speed.
Someone asked, would you rather keep doing Booktube videos and only read one book a month, or stop doing videos and read the amount of books you want every month?
Why do we have to choose, you mean person?
Yeah,
I know.
Why can't it be 5 books and 5 videos?
Yeah.
Right.
Um.
I feel like that's a really hard question because not that you have to read a ton to do Booktube videos because you don't, but to have content for like that's varied, you kind of do. Like not a ton, but you have to read probably more than one a month. Like if you only read one a month every single month, you wouldn't have the content. Yeah, because you couldn't do tags that much because it'd be the same answers because you're not reading anything new.
Yep.
You could do one review a month, which like I do all my reviews on Mondays, so like I'd have one, I'd have one, and you wouldn't have anything to talk about, so that's really kind of an impossible question. Like I would never want to stop doing videos ever, but like you need to be reading at least 4 or 5 books on average, I think, a month. Or, having like a varied, some months you read 10 and some you read 3 or 2. But like you need to be reading enough to actually contribute to the conversation because otherwise you can't make videos on anything.
They all don't have to be good books. Like I have plenty of books that are bad, but that helps because then when you get a tag and it's like a book that you will never buy again. I'm like, oh, this one, and then someone's like, yeah, I didn't like that either. So that helps build variety as well. So.
I guess if it's a temporary thing, like if someone, like for example, like the last couple of months I haven't felt very like well, so if someone said to me like, oh okay, you've only got this amount of energy this month because you're really run down, would you rather read one book and still film videos, or would you rather not put a video out and read 3 books? If that was like a temporary thing, then I would say I'd still rather put my content out there like as a temporary thing, because I wouldn't want to just disappear.
Yeah.
But I think long term, like you couldn't do that, but if it's temporary, then that's what I'd rather do. But I don't like to choose, so I'm not going to.
No, exactly.
I'm not joking. You're not mean. Yeah. I had a really funny question, and I wanted to. Oh, where is it? Right. Okay, this is a really funny one. Are we open for a funny question?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay. Right. This is where I'm going to read this wrong. Okay. If you could choose to go to your favorite fictional world and live there, but you can't bring like anyone with you, marry your favorite fictional character but you die in 2 years, or you become a fictional character but you forget your family and friends, which one do you pick?
Become a fictional character and forget everybody. Woo!
And who would you become?
Do you guys even need me to like answer, because I feel like
Yes.
you know? Okay.
Yes.
Well, it's Alina, but I'm not gonna spoil. But before the ending of
Your story would end differently.
yeah,
Yes.
I would make different and better choices.
Yeah.
Yes.
But,
Better choices.
Yeah. But like, yeah, if I could be her like in Siege and Storm,
Yes.
Yeah. And
and
then
that's where my story starts. Yeah.
Yes.
Because otherwise, it's like, okay, I don't really want to. I don't particularly want to marry any fictional character. Like, even though in my head, like, they're really great, but a lot of them are just like not good people. And
Yeah, like, I wouldn't actually want to marry barons. I mean.
yeah. And if I could go into any of the worlds, but like I couldn't bring in everybody, but I forget them, then it's like. Okay,
Yeah,
like,
that's a good point.
Yeah, but like, so being a fictional character and forgetting everybody because I wouldn't know that I forgot them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It's
a
painless.
logical choice.
See, I like, in my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, Fever series, but it's like, actually, so don't think about that, because there's Fae that drain people. So, and, you know, like, the world has, like, gone to shit, so I don't really want to go there. I'd like to be a shadow hunter, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess I would probably, but then I don't want to be Clary. Oh. And you see, I like the infernal devices, but I wouldn't want to like go back in time, because I don't think I could live without Wi-Fi. So I think I'm gonna say that I would like to become. I would become Faith from the Shifter series. Yes,
There you
I
go.
would.
Oh,
She is
there you go.
kick-ass. Yeah. And I'd forget everyone. What about you, Kristin?
I would say something from the Harry Potter series, and as you guys were talking, I was thinking of like the characters, and as much as I would want to be Hermione, I feel as though I would not be a good Hermione. So not that I want to be this person either, because she like kind of sucks, but at the same time I think I'm closer to her character than Hermione, and that would be Ginny, because she's really good at every spell. She's a jock. She plays Quidditch, and that's totally.
I can see that.
Yeah,
I'd
I
be
can
like
see that.
Katie Bell and the Ginny of the Hogwarts. Like, I would be the jock running around, decently good at every like spell that I have. I'm not the best, but I'm not the worst, and I would just like beat you up. Like, that's what I would be. And I'd be in Harry Potter. I'd play Quidditch. I'd probably be in Ravenclaw or Hufflepuff, because let's be honest, I'm not a Slytherin. So.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I'd have to be in Harry Potter. Why not?
While we're on the funny questions, because Sana actually asked this question a while ago.
Yes, I want to.
Yeah, you saw that one. Serious question alert. If you were a Pokemon, which one would you be? We'll have Kristin answer first, because she really knows.
And I
Okay,
need to Google them, because I've forgotten them. So you.
I've forgotten their names too, so I know which one I'd be, but Kristin will have to say what it actually is, because I haven't played a Pokemon game in forever, because I don't have a DS or a Wii. So I played the last Pokemon game I played was back on the Nintendo 64.
Disclaimer, I only like the original first gen, because I have not played any Pokemon game after Game Boy Color,
Oh yeah, same. Like
blue
Red
and
Spot.
yellow and red. So, but for me, if I was actually going to become a Pokemon, I think I would be Vulpix, because Vulpix is a fox, but however also like a cat, and that's the closest to a cat one that I would want to be, because I wouldn't want to be Meowth. Meowth's kind of ugly, although turns into Persian, who is beautiful. But yeah, I think I'd be Vulpix and then evolve into a Ninetales, and it would be glorious. And plus, fire Pokemon are the best, so yeah.
I was going to say the same one.
You were?
Say the same one. Yep, I was going to pick because I like Ninetales. I remember Ninetales' name, but I didn't know what Vulpix
Okay,
is.
so if you were you can be Vulpix, I'll just be Pikachu, because then I have to be Pikachu.
I just love the little boxies. They're so
I
used to
know.
love the fire ones too. Like fire was my favorite.
Yeah, fire and electric are my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I always had a favorite one, and it is literally because it's pink. But you know, let's remember that when Pokemon came out, I was like 10. So.
Oh no.
What?
You're gonna be saying Jigglypuff?
Yes, that's it! I was like, what's this little one?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
That one is cute. It looks kind of like what's that one? What's that
Kirby?
thing that like? Yes, is that the thing like that?
What?
Is that what you guys know what I'm talking about? In Super Smash Brothers, it makes
Kirby.
that noise. Is that Kirby?
Kirby's
Okay.
the little pink puff.
And it's like meow. Yeah.
that one and that little one, yeah, because I like it, and it's got cool hair. And
Jigglypuff.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
Aw. Yeah, Jigglypuff and Clefairy and Chansey were like the pink ones.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember what it was called, and all I kept thinking in my head, I was like, it's not called
Like
Hufflepuff because that's Harry Potter, but I was like, it's
Jigglypuff turns into Wigglytuff.
Oh.
Ooh. So watch out.
So watch out.
Yeah. But I'll be the cute little pink one because I just like it. And it looks fluffy. Have we got any other? Well, there's loads of funny questions.
There's a lot of. Well, I have some questions people asked about like our friendship. You know.
About
like
what? Wait.
Like about our friendship and.
Oh,
everything.
okay.
So we should
I
answer
have-
those.
Yeah, let's do the friendship ones.
How long did it take you guys to be close friends after knowing each other for the first time on Booktube? Like how long?
I think
For Sarah Jane and I, we weren't close, but like we did comment on each other's videos like right away, and that built it. And then we discovered David, Sean, and Hannah, and then that's when we started talking on Kick. So that's like kind of when that emulsified into a group, and that's when we really, I think, started talking outside of YouTube.
Yeah.
And then at some point we just started messaging each other by ourselves, and then Voxer at some point. I don't
I feel
exactly
like
know.
the way we spoke beforehand, like we weren't really close because you kind of can't be that close. Like you know, there's only a certain amount of like closest you can have like through Booktube like directly. And I feel like we'd always talked like loads. Like I know that obviously you and me, we spoke like right from the beginning, and then with Sam, it was like a little bit later. But literally, it was like she likes the bad boys. Okay, let's be friends. And it was literally like that happened. And I feel like as soon as we basically started our Voxer, I think that was it.
Yeah.
But it was like it was like all the conversations that we'd had previously through Booktube and Twitter. It like laid the foundations. But then as soon as Voxer started, it was like there was no going back.
Yeah.
I mean, and I can't really remember, Sam. I just remember you saying about the scarf. That was around my Christmas videos. That you liked my scarf. I can't remember anything prior to that.
No.
So
I don't think there was.
Sometime around Christmas, and then the three of us started reading Grisha in January. So like for Sam and I, it was a lot quicker, but I think that's because it made the trio of us.
Yeah.
So it kind of went a lot quicker. Where like Sarah Jane and I were both new to Booktube and new to each other. It was kind of like
And we were kind of friends with each other, like individually as well. Like obviously, like I was friends with Kristin because we'd been friends since like the beginning, and then I was friends with you, Sam, because of like we bonded over like the whole like bad boy in need of redemption thing. And I think like we had these friendships, and then when we had Voxer, it became like
it explodes.
Stronger.
Yeah.
A tribe.
Yeah, exactly. I remember, like Kristin was saying, I don't know what exactly, like, we talked only a little bit before Voxer happened, so we had less of, like, a build-up. But I found Sarah Jane, and I was like, I fully admit to being like this person, and I still do this. There's still people that I'm like this about, where I'm like, I want to be your friend. I'm gonna try so hard to be your friend. But like I'm not gonna be creepy. So like, okay, so like, what do I say? And so like, I would like write comments. Like we have really long comment things on like all, because we were all like, I read Shatter Me right around the time that we started talking, I think. So then we were talking about Warner. We were talking about Bad Boys. And yeah, True Blood was like a huge thing because like True Blood had just like the True Blood ended, so we were talking about True Blood and stuff like that. So we were bonding over all this stuff. And then she was like, okay, we'll like read this series together, because I think I said I wanted to read like Shadow and Bone like this year.
We read Shadow and Bone, and then also read Siege and Storm. Is that right?
Right. Yeah.
I think I read Shadow and Bone like
just
2 weeks before you guys read it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we started reading,
like, and then you were like, I'm good. Well, I kind of prided my way in because Sarah Jane was the one that brought Sam and I closer, but I remember you two were going to read, like, Siege and Storm, and I was like, I want to read it, too.
Right. And so we're like, okay. Yeah. So that was the end, like, because obviously we were bonding over that, and it wasn't very long before we started actually talking about, like, life stuff. Like, I think we have a question about, like, what do you guys bond over besides, you know, book stuff? Like, everything.
Yeah.
Like, we are not exaggerating when we literally talk all day. Like, we'll be like, good morning, you know, like, and it's every day.
We really do. Like, I mean, obviously, like, because we're also, just before I mention this point, I just want to say that cracks me up so much that you said that you were just like, I want to be your friend, because I literally did the same thing. I was like watching your channel and I was like, I really want to be friends with Sam, because like, we have like the same things in common. So, but yeah, like, I think because of like the fact that I go to sleep really late and get up really late, I basically feel like I'm on your guys' time zone anyway. So
that's perfect.
We just talk like all the time, and it would just be like, obviously because we bond over like all the animals and then just things that happen, I think, like, because for a while like you don't want to say stuff that's like apart from Booktube, but then when you're talking on a daily basis it kind of like seeps in, and then obviously something else will happen. We'll be like, oh, you know how I mentioned so and so the other day, well this has happened now, and like it kind of just all started from there, because I think when we talked as much as we did, we couldn't sustain that level of chatting without starting to talk about real life stuff. Right.
Because we read so many books together back to back. So we read the whole Grisha trilogy, and then we read the Throne of Glass series. Right after. So there
was no gap.
Time. Yeah. So we had this time where we like were bonding over that, and then we were talking all the time. So we'd also mention like stuff that was happening, and you know I'd be voxering them on the way to work or whatever, and then we talk about like the cats, and like it just blew up from there, and like like we were saying before, as far as the animals, like, everyone needs to understand that, like, we talk about our animals like they're our children, because we all have pets, and, like, we all deeply care. Like, all of us have had, like, a health scare with our animals within the past, like, couple months, I think. Well, like, Sarah Jane didn't have a huge one, but it was, you know, we all were having, like, Sarah Jane's animals were going to the vet, and, like...
I just said you pictured Domino being fat, basically.
Right. Like, everyone was having... Yeah, we were all having, like, pet stuff, so, like, we talked about, like, that. We talk about if we're having, like, issues with anything, you know, work problems, or if we're having like outside friend issues or what, like we literally talk as if, because we are actually like real life friends. Like it's not like we're just Booktube friends. Like we literally are actual friends.
Like when I went to the Supernatural convention and the whole thing, if people don't know, there's a whole video about it, where like I met Jared Padalecki, and it was all like, you know, and I remember going up to my hotel room literally to have like just a breather, because I like had tears down my face, and I was like, guys, oh my god, guess what, I'm doing this, by the way, guys, because you have to hold the button, and they've just holding the button, so I just know what I'm doing, and I was like, guys, oh my god, he held my hand, it was like the most amazing thing ever, and I was like, and then sort of after, somebody was like, why did you do that? And I was like, well, they are my friends. I was like, I need to tell them.
But and when you were just at Taylor Swift, and I was like, can you please just box for me a clip of her singing, please box for me, and you're like, okay, and then like I can hear her talking. I was like, it's like I'm there. I'm in the UK. I am watching Taylor Swift right now with Sarah Jane. Like it's this moment, and like. And then the same thing, Sam and I have met each other in real life and just hung out. Yeah. It's so nice to have somebody
like this. So unfair. I want to tell her what.
Well, one day, Sarah Jane.
It will happen.
So speaking of, this is an excellent segue. I don't want to get off topic of that. So somebody left a really sweet comment that was basically like asking us about our friendship and basically saying like, I don't think you guys have all met, where we just said that Kristin and I have met because we were fortunate enough to live close together. But how like basically how excited are you guys to eventually meet, and how do you picture the like perfect meeting day? Like, where and when, like, what will you guys do? Like, somebody really wants to know about our, like...
I can see it in my head. I can genuinely see it. When I sent you guys your bookmarks that I made you, I remember writing very similar things to both of you, but I can remember specifically what I said to Sam, because I think you read a little bit of it out or something, and it was like, oh, I know one day we'll meet and we'll fangirl together, and like, that was quite early on in our friendship, but it was like, I hope you didn't think I'm like some kind of creep for saying this, because I was like, to me, that just seemed like evidence that was going to happen. And then I put it in the post, and I was like, should I be like, all right, calm down? But I can see it in my head, because I know that when it happens, I know that I'd be like wanting to like vlog it or whatever. So I can see it, and I'm like probably standing there, and I'm like, oh, I'm just waiting for like Sam and Kristin, like I imagine you guys both coming over here at the same time.
I can't, like, look, I'm already like...
And then I'll be like, oh my god,
my hands are sweating.
I tried to film it, and I just dropped the camera and we'd be like, ah!
Like, I've thought about the same, because obviously, like, being online friends, like, you would have to kind of, like, film that experience of, like, meeting.
Yeah, we would, yeah.
Like, bawling. Like, I'm gonna be, I mean, look at me right now. Like, I even think about all of us getting to, like, be in the same spot, and I, like, literally every time I think about it, like, start misting up. Because it is, like, you know, these are my best friends, and you know, like, that you talk to every day, and one of them I've never met in real life and never gotten to, like, hug, and it's just, like, so, like, so it's just kind of, like, when it happens, like, hopefully, that, I mean, it's gonna happen eventually, I'm hoping it's in the next, like, few years, but, like, it's just one of those, like, oh my gosh, like, it's gonna be really awesome, and like I said, we'll do whatever, like, it doesn't even matter what we do, like, we'll probably do something book-related because we're us, but, like, you know, we could literally all just be, like, sitting there, like, I know Kristin and I have talked about this before, where, like, we went to a book event together, but we literally can just be sitting next to one another, and it's, like, hanging out, and we don't need to be, like, filling the space because we're just such good friends.
We wouldn't need to do anything, would we? Like, if you guys came and, like, did a visit, it's like, of course, I'd be like, oh, okay, let's go to London, let's go to this bookshop, but at the same time, I'd actually be like, come and visit, and let's just hang, and it'd be fine, because...
sit in the backyard, like...
Yeah, we could do anything, and it'd be fine.
Like, but it's not a case of, like, if someone said, oh, do you hope that you guys will get to meet one day? I'm just like, we will.
No, we are.
Yeah. Like, this is happening. It is happening.
Yeah, like, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Like, for me, as soon as that question was asked, like, I picture, like, it's so funny, you guys picture filming it, but I picture it already playing back in, like, slow motion. Or, like, we're just, like...
it's like running, right?
Yeah, and you're just like, let me put my bags down, and
I don't even think I'd bother to, like, wear makeup, because I'll just be like...
my God.
And the thing is, I'm not that easy of a crier, like, books don't make me cry, or, like, movies, not really, but, like, when somebody else is all of a sudden crying in front of me, like, it's just
like,
gonna pour out.
Like, like, I'll be a mess.
Like, YouTube will definitely start crying first, and then, like, because I'm always, for me, like, as a person, I'm always, like, 4 seconds ahead of, like, what I'm actually doing, like, oh, and then this is gonna happen, and this is gonna happen. So, like, for you to actually be crying in the moment, I'm just gonna be like, wait, they're crying. I'm crying. Like.
When I was at the Taylor Swift concert, she said something, and I felt myself, like, starting to cry, because it was like this little, like, motivational type speech thing. And
she was talking about internet friends, right?
Yeah, she was talking about, like, internet friends, and then she was also talking about, like, how you're not somebody's opinion of you and things like that, and it was, like, really, really nice. And I could feel it coming, and I was like, no, I'm going to keep it in. And then my friend next to me just went and patted me on the back. And then she started crying, and I was with my niece as well. And my friend went, oh, your niece is fine. Like, she's not crying, but she wasn't looking at us. And I was like, she is crying because she's not looking. And we were all just like, and I was like, oh my God. But, I mean, I teared up watching both of your videos. And it's like, that is exactly what we would be like. And I think we'd be worse.
Oh my God.
Probably.
At the beginning than the end. Like, it wouldn't, like, say that when you went home, it'd be like, oh, I'm going to miss you, but it would be the first, like, oh my God, this person is real. Like, you have a body, you're not just a floating head.
Yeah, because the first time Sam and I met, Sarah Jane, you were in the Voxer, and I was like, I forget what you said, like, something about height or whatever, and I was like, oh, how tall do you think I am? And then you were like 5'8" or 5'7" or something, and then I was like, oh, you're in for a surprise.
I thought you were really tall.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so
great. I think you guys saw my pictures. Like, I know obviously the guys from Supernatural are, like, really tall. They're, like, you know, obviously, like, giants. But then because I am so short, I remember showing you guys the picture, like, you're really low down. I was like, yes.
Yeah, I'm the tallest one, which really weirds me out. Like, I'm, like, 5'7.5". Like, I'm the tallest one of our, like, group, and I always I think people just naturally picture everybody the same height as them. So I was like, oh yeah, like we're all the same height, and you guys are like, no, we're not. I'm like,
I just know I'm short, like, so I always picture people taller than me. So like I actually thought you were a little taller than what you were, and I was like, oh, thank God she's not that tall, so the pictures don't look so weird. I was like,
right. So it's like, here's
I'm just like, please let me in the photo.
You have to get like a little stool, little perch.
Well, yeah, because when I was in high school, the one boy I took the prom was 6'4", and I'm only 5'3", 5'4", so like it was like my head was here, and then you had to go like 2.5 more feet to get his head in the photo. I was just
oh my God.
oh.
So funny.
Oh, when that day comes, it'll be the best day, and I will definitely film it. It would be a case of like, this is me waiting.
Right, and then I'm filming like my side.
Yeah, and then you just go,
we're walking.
Yeah,
Where is she? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. And do you know what the funny thing is like I get really nervous about like say like I don't know if there's something going on and everyone's meeting up at like a coffee shop or whatever. I always hate getting there and waiting for people because it makes me really anxious and stuff. But I know that if I was waiting for both of you, I wouldn't be. I'd just be excited. I'd just be like,
right. Because it's not gonna be like it's not gonna be weird. Like it's not like we know for sure it's not gonna be like, oh hi. Like,
no. Unless Sarah Jane's catfishing both Sam and I.
Right. This is all an illusion.
Yeah.
This isn't me.
All of a sudden we go, she's like, actually, I'm 9'6". Like,
right.
Wait, what?
Actually, I'm a man. Wait. That'll be the one thing people take from this.
Right. That'll be like gift now.
Yeah, right.
So as far as like random questions, since we're kind of on like that now, I don't know an answer for this, but what title would you choose for the book of your life?
Oh, I have a similar question. We'll follow up after. It's not for the title.
Okay.
Well, for me, it would have to be Life of Poe. Because it really, like, that's what I wanted my channel to be, my blog to be, and I write journals, like, I used to write every single day, but now I don't write as much because it's very mundane life. It's like, today, the cat went to the bathroom at 3 o'clock. Today, she went at 4, like, you know. So it's mostly mundane, but yeah, Life of Poe. And it would be scripted, it would be script life, and then of would be a normal, like, wonky font, and then Poe would be scripted again, I think. So I'd picture it.
I cannot even think of anything. Sarah Jane, if you have one, I can...
I haven't, but I'm gonna think of it, like, I'm gonna think of it, and then I'm gonna tweet it later, because I'm taking this very seriously.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give an answer that's, like, that doesn't do it justice.
Yeah. I can see it being, like, for me, being, like, a title, and then being, you know, like, colon,
a
blah,
sub.
blah, blah. Being, like, cats, fangirling, and sleep. Or, like, you know, like, this is just my life. So... yeah, but I can't think of, like, because all of my, like, favorite titles of books are, like, cool, and my life's not that cool.
That's exactly the issue that I've got. It's like,
I've never read. Like, I've never read Life of Pi.
Right. Exactly.
Just Life of Poe works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, I don't know. I can think of a title for a book if I was going to, like, write a book, but I can't think of one that's, like...
I've had many titles for many books that I have. And I also have
you need to finish.
Yeah, I know, I will. I haven't done any today though. I'm bad.
Well, if we can't think of titles, I have a follow-up question. Somebody asked, if your book, a book of your life, if your life was a book, what would the ending be, or what would you want the ending to be? I'm not sure if that means you dying, or if that means just where your book stops.
Right.
I know the
like Titanic, you know, like where Titanic, like she's like asleep in her bed with all her memories, like.
Oh yeah.
And you know, I'm an old lady.
That's so cute.
That'd be the thing.
See, I kind of wanted. Now that you brought that up, I would kind of, if I'm gonna go out, I would like maybe to have Alzheimer's, where you like kind of don't know that you're going, and then all of a sudden, for me, because like I can't.
Awful.
Yeah, no, because I think about like dying so often. Like one day I'm not gonna be here. So, like it'd be better if it just didn't know. Like I didn't know I was 98 years old. Like all of a sudden it's just like, oh, I'm 16, and the next day, yep, yeah, there you go. That's it. Really, I was 98 years old, and you know. I know it's depressing for everybody else, but for me, I'd be fine.
That's true. Like, you wouldn't know. So,
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, I'm dying happy because I have no idea. Meanwhile, like, you know, my poor son or daughter is gonna be like, she didn't know who I was for 20 years, and be like, sorry.
But you're like, I'm okay.
I'm sorry. What do you want me to do?
Oh
they
my
could read
God.
me but they could read me my life of Poe book, and then I'd remember.
Like the Notebook.
Like the Notebook.
Oh, see?
There it is.
Perfect. Sarah Jane, do you have anything in the middle, Sarah Jane, between the two?
I can't remember what the credit was. Was it about dying, or was it just about the end?
How would you want the end of your book to end?
Oh, right.
Book of your life.
Not my life. Oh, right. Okay.
Not the book you're writing. Don't tell us that.
Right.
Ending.
No. I think the first option is like the end of 101 Dalmatians, but rather than Dalmatians, there's loads of bunnies. But at the same time, I'm against breeding, so maybe not. So maybe there'd only be like 2 bunnies, or there could be lots of rescue bunnies. But aside from that, I think I like the kind of endings that are a bit. This is me being like, you know, all writery now. I like the kind of endings that suggest something, but don't fully give it to you. And I like. I don't know, as long as it has a good soundtrack, you know, because do you ever get that moment when you're going through your life, you're like, I wish just some upbeat music could play right now and it would be really nice, but it doesn't really happen in real life. Maybe just surrounded by bunnies and cavaliers.
Yeah, so much fluff.
Yeah, just my head, like, sticking out of, like,
fur everywhere.
And then the credits would just come up and I'd be like, and it's like really happy music and all these bunnies will be running around.
It's like, maybe she died, maybe she didn't, but she's happy.
All right.
Yeah. Except then they'd probably like eat me or something and then it'd be like horror films.
Ew!
Oh my gosh! You guys have like the most depressing answers.
I can't help it.
Oh my gosh. Somebody, I'm trying to find the question. Oh, here it is. This also got asked in a different way on like videos and stuff, but like, how do you deal with people who don't understand your online friends, or like, how do people react when you tell them about Booktube? Those kinds of like, how do people react when you tell people outside of Booktube that you do Booktube?
Do you know what? I've never had anybody be like really negative about it. The main thing that I have is people ask if they can see it, and I'm like, no. That's generally what happens. Like, my 10-year-old cousin found my channel, and he was around the other day, and he went, I subbed. And I went, excuse me? And he went, I've subbed. I went, subbed at what? I don't get what you're saying. He went, sub to your channel. He said like 10. And I went, oh, did you? And I was like, is that really, like, what, is that good? Because obviously, like, you know, he's 10. Like, and I was just like, well, I don't know if I really want you to watch it. And he went, well, you've put it out there for everyone to find. And I'm like, good point. But so I haven't really had anybody be, like, kind of negative towards it. I guess because I've had quite an isolated couple of years because of like health stuff. People have been really supportive of it because it's a way of me to like have this social contact that I wouldn't have. So I guess for me it's mostly people just going like, can I watch it? And I'm like, you can, but the worst thing is when people try and watch one of your videos with you. Like, I don't know if anyone's ever done that to you, but like my friend was around the other day and she went, oh, you've put a new video up, and she pressed it and I was like, can you not please? And she was laughing and like winding me up with it, and she was like, but you put it out there. I was like, yeah, but I don't I don't
want to relive it.
Yeah, and so like it hasn't been anything negative. I guess it's mostly like,
it's kind of like that awkward moment when you write like a card and the person's like sitting there reading the card and you're just sitting there like,
oh, yes. I hate that. I hate that so much. Like, read it later.
Yeah, like, that's how it is when somebody watches your video. You're just like, well.
Yeah. So nobody's been negative. It's just, like, kind of, yeah.
Well, it's so funny. Not many people know about my channel, but my parents do. And my mom likes to watch my channel, so she'll, like, watch the videos in her room. And I can hear them, like, playing. I'm like, can you turn it down? Because I sound like a moron. And then she always says to me, she's like, your teeth on your videos look like you have buck teeth, but in real life you don't have buck teeth. She's like, so I don't understand. And I'm like, I know, I don't know what it is either. It's the way the camera's angled or something.
Oh my god.
She's like, your teeth are so pretty, but on the camera it just looks like there's buck teeth. I was like, okay.
You're like, thanks, Mom.
Yeah, like she just says it. She just says it because that's what it looks like. But and I'm like, it does, right? Like, it looks like.
If anybody ever brings up my channel, like, around my mom, she's like, she doesn't let me watch them.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like,
that's so funny.
And like my niece was watching them and she was like, so you're like, I watch them, people won't let me. And I'm like, yeah, but it's because you'll laugh at something that's not actually funny or just like, no. And so I just kind of, I hide it. And so like if I ever share anything on Facebook, I'm like, hide from.
Right. It's so funny.
Probably
Only a few people know about. I mean, like, actually, I'm not like weird about telling people. Like, it's fine. I'll tell people like if they ask, or like all my like best friends know. My actual like my best friend, she watches them when she misses me. She's the one that lives in Philly, and she'll be like, "I'm watching your video," and I'm like, "Great." So like she's like, "When I want to hang out, I watch your videos," and then like my parents know about my channel, and they like will watch them sometimes, but I don't live with them, so like it doesn't like I don't know. And my dad like. My dad's really cute. He might actually be in a video coming up because he's going to be visiting me. My parents are both going to be visiting me, but my mom would never be on a video, I don't think, and my dad will because he's funny. And they're just like, I don't really understand it, but I'm very proud of you, you know? So it is very cute. Like, my dad was really pumped about Book Expo America because he was like, you're going to, like, a book event? And I was like, yeah, like, it's just, you know, like, I can go. And he was like, that's really cool because he's like, I read because my dad was a reader, so, like, he knows book related stuff, and like that being able to go to an event like that is cool. So like they're really supportive of it. They just don't quite understand like what exactly it is, like, and like YouTube culture and stuff like that. Like they don't really know, but they're really cool with it. And, like all my friends are cool with it. And if I ever have to like do something Booktube related, you know, like I would tell people and stuff. So most people act really cool. One thing that did happen when I was at BEA is the girls and I that were at BEA would go out to eat, and people would be like, oh, how do you all know each other? And we'd be like, from the internet. And they'd all be like, what? And if it was a younger person and you said YouTube, they'd be like, oh, cool. But if it was like an older person, they'd be like, what?
Yeah, they think that's, they're not with it anymore.
Right. So, like, so most people react pretty positively, especially because it's like, well, I do, like, book stuff. And they're like, oh, books, good for you, you know?
Yeah.
So,
What else do we have?
I don't know if you guys want to read one, if we want to do one from the Q&A or whatever.
I'm
scrolling through because we've been asked about like favorite childhood books.
Oh, I've got
like,
one.
Or like how you got into reading, or you know stuff like that.
I've got another just random fun question that I think is quite cool. It says, if you could have one superpower, what would you pick?
Electrical abilities.
Wait, sorry, I was reading. What?
If you could have one superpower, what would you pick?
Ability to fly.
I think...
Or disapparate and apparate, like in Harry Potter.
Transportation abilities is what you
mean. Yes, like, I would like to get up like an hour before work just to eat, play with my cat, and then within 30 seconds be like, I'm at work now, like, yay! Although that would cut down severe on audiobooks. What would you have?
You know, like the TV show you've got Arrow, and then there's the Flash, which is like the spin-off. And the guy who's the Flash, he's got like super speed and like really, really super speed because, and I'm taking this on a very serious level, because I have fatigue and it takes me so long to do things. I would love that ability because I'd be like, I will be there in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that is what. But I don't like his suit because red's not really my colour, so I'd rather look like Arrow. So maybe I'd be like a female version of Arrow and have his cool hood, but I'd be really quick.
Ooh. Well, you've never watched Heroes, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's
way too excited.
Yeah.
Well, it's coming back on, but anyways, there's a girl that I forget her name, but she's got super speed. And the only person that can stop her is Hiro Nakamura, because then she's like slowed down. But I forget her name. It's like, I don't want to say Allison, but it's something like generic. Like she doesn't have like, they don't all have names.
Yeah, I know who you mean though. Yeah, I would like
with the blonde hair and the piggy tails or whatever.
Yeah,
she's really fast.
Yeah, I would like super speed because I just think that would greatly help me out on a serious level. And think of how many books you could read.
Would your eyes read super fast?
I think so.
Yeah? Okay.
Well, then why can't we just have the ability to do this? Be like, I read this book. Great.
Yeah.
Right. I have it now.
This book is good.
I hit a book on my head and I've read it.
Yeah. That's the book bonking ability. You just bonk it on your head.
So original.
You know you want that power.
I love you guys.
See, I never think of powers that are actually like useful. Like I love the idea of like electrical lightning abilities. Like I just love it. So I would have that because I just think it's like the coolest. Like
Yeah,
anytime that's a thing, I love it. Like the infamous video games, even though the games themselves like aren't that great, like I love the electrical thing. Red Queen has like electrical abilities in there, like some of the characters. So like I loved it. Like anytime that somebody has like lightning powers, I'm just like, yeah, give me that.
Yeah, it's cool.
But I'd be able to outrun you because, you know, I'd be super fast, so you wouldn't be able to get me.
Right, but like speed of light, lightning, zing.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, and I'd just be flying around.
We'd be like arch enemies, and then Kristin would just be like, woo!
Oh my god.
I don't know why she'd be going like this. I don't quite know why.
I was doing this.
That's how she flies. Like, it's just like this.
Whoa, guys!
Like she's caught in the wind.
Pedaling my arms like, yee!
Oh my god.
Oh.
Okay, do you guys have another?
I do. It's a little lengthy, but it said, if you could hang out with 6 characters from any series, who would they be?
Like just picking people randomly from
6 random characters.
all my faves.
I know, which is like difficult.
It's well, see, I honestly choose most of the ladies because like
Because
I don't know, like
do you go for the girl power group to hang out
Yeah.
with, or do you go for like
no.
like that's the thing, because I don't want to date any of those guys really. I just want
I would go for the girl gang, like
That's
Yeah.
right.
straight up.
So
That's
why
my
would
that's my
Maybe
current
girl
aesthetic.
gang.
Oh my god. Okay. Well,
Let's Sam go first.
I don't even know if I can like actually choose. There's 6.
Yes.
Okay, so Alina, obviously, from the Grisha trilogy. Cleo from Fallen Kingdoms, because she's my bae. Kestrel from the Winter's Curse trilogy, because also bae. Leah from the Kiss of Deception series, because she is everything. I don't really like Juliet that much, so I probably wouldn't pick her.
I just thought the exact same thing. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I don't really know if I would pick her.
And she might
Celia,
kill you.
right, and I'm just not in the mood for her. Celia from the Night
Nice
Circus.
to meet you, and then you know.
Ooh, I like Celia too. I'm liking
Yeah,
that right now.
and probably either Anita Blake from the Anita Blake Vampire Hunter because she's like my ultimate person, or Katza from Graceling because she's also amazing. But those are all like badass ladies. And yeah, girl gang. I'm gonna get us like jackets, and you know it's gonna have like girl gang in the back, and we like walk around with like combat boots on.
Yeah.
That's
The thing
my.
is, like, when you think of, like, I mean, what would I actually say if like I met Jericho Barons? It would be like, hi, it'd be like, leave Dublin or you're gonna die. Okay, bye bye.
Right. Like I said, if you had all the, especially with Sarah Jane and I, if you had all the guys hanging out together, they'd all be like all like, yeah, they'd all be douchey, and I'm just like, I'm not about you. Like I'd much rather hang out with girls.
See, like my guy, if I picked a guy gang, it would be all the ones that are like kind of like it would be like Ron Weasley, Peeta Mellark, Levi from Fangirl. Like it would be those like
nice guys.
Yeah, like the
nice
goofy guys.
That's the thing, you know, and you like the nice ones.
There are like a couple bad boys I like, but the most of the time it's always the goofy one, which is like I don't know. I just have a soft spot for them. Like even Charlie from Perks of Being a Wallflower. Like he's just so like cute. You just have to love him. He's just so baby.
Yeah, I think mine would be kind of. Have you said all yours? No, you haven't said all yours.
No, I did all mine.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
for
did her
Kristin?
6. Oh, I was gonna do for my girls.
Yeah, you do
My
yours.
girls would be Alina, obviously from the Grisha. I would do Artemis from Ready Player One because I want to be her. So if I can't be her, I will hang out with her.
She's
Hermione and Luna from Harry Potter because I love both of them so much. I don't know. See, I want to say I want to hang out with Selena, but then I don't know if I do want to hang out with Selena because she got a lot of issues, you know, a lot of issues. But you know, I guess she would be okay. And then I don't know who my 6th person would be. I'm not in front of my bookshelf. It's in the other room. But maybe I don't know. I don't know who my last person would be.
Because you haven't met them yet.
It would be Cress from Cress or Cinder. I'm not sure which of those two because I really like both of them from the Lunar Chronicles. Cress has got the computers, you know, and Cinder is just awesome. Like she's so good. Like I just love her. So I mean, not that I don't like Scarlet, but the other two have like abilities. Scarlet's kind of.
I love
Scarlet.
She's
but she does get Wolf, which I'm like, okay.
Mhm.
See, I really need to catch up and read some more of these because, like, my list actually isn't that big. I mean, like, obviously we're going to go for Michaela Lane from the Fever series.
Oh,
Really
yes.
cool.
I forgot about Michaela.
Yeah, because she starts off, like, really, really girly and then she gets, like, really kick-ass, and I like that. I would say Faith from the Shifter series because, you know, she's just awesome. Right, then. And then I'd say Alina. I wouldn't say Juliet because she'd literally be like, "It's nice to meet you," and I'd be dead. So,
Right.
and then,
Oh, that was so cool! High five. Oh.
and then I'd say Tessa Gray from the Infernal Devices, and I would say Izzy from the Mortal Instruments. I do like Clary as a character to read, but she wouldn't be a character that I want to meet. So that means that I've got 5, and I don't have the 6th. So I would actually say that. This sounds really, really random because these are all like girls, but because you know what we were saying like about the bad guys, and we wouldn't bring them in because you know,
Right.
I would just randomly with all those girls just bring in Kenji from.
Oh, he'd have a great time.
Yeah, because it'd be all these girls, and he'd just be like, "Wait," and he's just really fun. So he could turn up and just be like, you know, the token guy of the group, but
Right.
he's the only guy that could really come along because everybody else would just be like, you know, like Mark from the Shifter series would like wreck the place and like break all the tables.
It'd be dangerous if you had like Magnus Demora in there being like a sassy brat. Like it would just not be fun. And even if you had all the funny guys, like 'cause you could say like like Nikolai and Thorn and Kenji, but then they'd all be like one-upping one another, and it's just like.
Yeah, can you stop? No one likes that.
Yeah, like get out of here.
Think if you even had like Rafe and Kaden, and then you had like Thorn and Nikolai. It's like it's just too much manpower in this room. Yeah, stop it.
I don't want that. I have enough manpower going on in the world. Like, my ladies and like.
Yeah,
the place down.
But I would say the location would be Baron's Books and Baubles from the Fever series, so he wouldn't be there, but we could be in the library.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I wish that was real.
Do you guys have other ones, or do we want to pull from the...
Ooh.
I'm looking through some of them. Some of them we've kind of answered.
Yeah. I'm amazed that none of us have needed to, like, go to the toilet in the middle of this.
I went right before.
Yeah.
I have some, like, life-ish questions. I got a lot of life ones.
Go for it.
Well, the first one is really easy. Is they asked on my channel if I had curly or straight hair. So for me, my hair is actually just wavy. Like this is kind of a glamorized version of what it looks like. I just had the curling iron in it, but it's not really. I think what video did I just post? Oh, my July TBR. My July TBR is like kind of what my hair is, but I just put gel in it, just so it's not like poofed all over the place. If I let my hair air dry, it'll look like Hermione Granger, Serica, Sorcerer's Stone. It's just like poofy and dry, so it needs gel. But yeah, it's not really straight or curly. It's kind of wavy and dry. That's it. And for you two,
this is my natural hair because I had a shower at like 4 o'clock, and I was like, right, it's 9 o'clock here. I'm really not going to do my hair because that just seems silly. So this is my natural hair, and it's very fluffy.
Yeah, mine looks like this. I mean, I put gel in it to make sure that it doesn't get like super frizzy, like Kristin was saying. But this is what it looks like.
I also don't know why I have a centre parting because I've never had a centre parting in my life. So I
just decided to get center.
What's going on with that? Because I kind of look like a emo boy, but there we go. Never mind.
The next one I have is, what is your favorite song ever?
Ooh.
I can never answer that question.
I have favorite songs and I have favorite fandom songs. Why am I looking at my books? That's not going to help me. My favorite song in the whole world has always been Moon River, which is the song in Breakfast at Tiffany's. I've loved it ever since I was little, but I never really thought I could like it. Like, I was like, oh, that's not cool. And then I watched Breakfast at Tiffany's, and the song came on, and I was like, oh, this is what this song's from. And I just fell in love with it, and it is just my most favourite song ever. But, like, it's not really, it's weird, because it's not like it's a song that sums up me, like, my musical taste. It's just a song that I just love. Like, it just gives me goosebumps.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even pick one because
for me,
mine always change around.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
No,
Sam.
I'm just saying mine always change around like on a constant basis. So I'm trying to think.
Okay.
I have favorite like
My favorite song. Oh yeah. My favorite song of all time is Jason Mraz, You and I Both, or You and I Both Loved, or whichever way you want to call it. That is always like a song that comes on and I'm just like, ugh. Yes, like I can listen to that like 30 times in a row and it doesn't get old no matter how old the actual song is. So yeah, Jason Mraz, You and I Both is definitely like my favorite song ever. I'll listen to that on the last day when I forget that it's actually my favorite song.
Yeah, right.
when you've got your Alzheimer's, that will be playing at the end of your...
Yes, I don't remember. Oh, this song's good. Who sings it?
Oh my god, that's so funny. Mine would be, like I said, mine change all the time. Like, I'm a very obsessive, like, when I discover a favorite song, I'll listen to it on repeat for, like, infinity, and then, you know, like...
Hate it?
Well, I won't even hate it. Like, I'll just, like, you know, so they're always changing on, like, what my favorite one is. Like, I think current favorite might be Can't Sleep, Can't Breathe from Digital Daggers, which isn't actually sound as hardcore as the title does. The title sounds like it's very awkward. But Digital Daggers is, like, I've said this 1,000 times, that band is, like, my Grosha Trilogy, Grosha World, like, theme music, basically. Like, all their songs make me think of that series. So, and that's just like a badass song, and I just love like badass characters. So you can pretty much put like any character to that song. I also like the one song that I'm probably gonna love until the day I die. I'm laughing because you guys are gonna be like, "What?" Is Miss Jackson from Outkast. I'm sorry, I will love that song for my entire life. I do
like that song.
All the lyrics, yeah, like it's just a good song. Like if you hear that song come on, you're like, yeah. You know, like it's just good. Or I'm trying to think of like 90s music. Like a bunch of like Third Eye Blind songs are like still my favorite.
Oh, I saw Third Eye Blind live.
Ah, yes. I just love their music. Like it's really chill. Like there's so many good songs from like the 90s that I just like really love and like will love for my like entire life.
Do you know what I'm really obsessed with right now? And it's basically your fault, Sam, to be honest. Because, you know, like when you sent me that video and it was like the Trading Yesterday song and it was like, and it was like Eric and Suki. Well, ever since then, I've like discovered their music. And the other day I was like, I think I'll just put on their album. And I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing. And I started making like a fandom playlist, like kind of like what you would do really. And I was like, oh, I'll do that. And I always had a playlist, but I was like making it and kind of writing it all down so that I could do a video on it. And I found like perfect songs for like the Infernal Devices, for the Mortal Instruments, for the Grisha, for everything, just within this one artist.
They're really,
like,
they have great music for that stuff.
Yeah, that and Imagine Dragons. Oh, I love Imagine Dragons.
Yes, I mean, Radioactive is going to be one of my favorite songs for like all time from Imagine Dragons, and like, you know, Bleeding Out, obviously we've talked about that one before.
Ever since you said that reminds me of Warner, I'm just like...
Yes, and also, and this also brings me pain, 13 Senses Into the Fire, I had to look it up because I've forgotten the name of it, but it's one of the songs from Grey's Anatomy. Like, they play it, like, it's one of the first songs they play in the whole series, and then they played it a lot, like, this past season.
Oh, I know the song you mean. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, Into the Fire. That's one of those, like, that brings me so much joy because I love Grey's Anatomy, and it, like, I've been watching it for I've been watching it for a decade, so, like, that song kind of, I've been obsessed with it numerous times over my life, so that's kind of one of those songs that's always going to be, like,
the feels.
Yes, the feels.
Yeah. We basically like lots of songs that give us the feels, and then randomly Miss Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's beautiful. It's so good.
Oh, that's so funny. I think all of my questions that I had on my document, I think we've done them all. Oh, there's only one question that we haven't got, and this is funny because I genuinely don't think there's really anything. It says, someone's put two of you, but obviously there's three of us. What do you disagree on and why? But I don't think
I know. Well, Sam and I, well, not that we really, like, disagree, but Sam doesn't like the Maze Runner, which, like, I really don't mind.
Yeah.
But, like, it's not, like, just a friendship breaker, it's just...
Yeah. Yeah, the Maze Runner is one of the only books that I, like, dislike, genuinely.
And I'm not, like, a diehard for it. I just, for me, it gives me, like, nostalgia of the Saw movies, which I just see those psychological thriller, I'm like, what? Like, who is this person and why would you do something to people? And then, like, the Maze Runner is a similar aspect. Like, why would you do this to children? So, I mean, it's just that. I just know that because you mentioned it one time in your little montage of like books you don't like, and I was like, oh, like the Maze Runner.
Yeah.
I don't think, like, there's nothing big. It's only like funny things, isn't it? Like little like jokey things. Like I always say like, oh, I don't like the vanilla characters, and then Kristin, you're like, I quite like the vanilla. Like,
Right.
and yeah, some of them are fun.
Yeah, like Kristin loves Ron Weasley and I don't, but we've never really talked about it. About like but like you'd never be like, but like my favorite couple of all Harry Potter that's non-canon is Draco and Hermione. So like, and you probably are like gross, but like it doesn't matter. Like I don't. Like, we don't disagree and, like, fight about it.
You have to watch a Harry Potter musical. It's on YouTube. I don't know if you've watched it, Sam.
No, but I remember you telling me about it before.
Yeah, so, like,
I need to watch it.
Yeah, because in it, there's a girl, the girl that plays Drake, there's a girl that plays Draco.
Right.
And she's hysterical, and she's, like, only 5 foot, and then they always put, like, Draco falling for Hermione in it. Like, it's always, like, these Hermione puns, and Draco's, like, always making fun of her and, like, falling in love with Hermione, but... You know, in the books and nothing, it's there. But in the musical that they wrote, it's hysterical. Like, you have to watch it and then just be like, yes, I see.
Right. Yeah.
Cause, like, I see why people would like Hermione and Draco. It's just, from the moment, because I love Ron and I love Hermione, it has to be Ron and Hermione. And when people are like, no, it's it's Harry and Hermione. I was like, no way, it's Harry and Hermione.
I think the only thing that happened that, like, it wasn't even like something we disagreed over. Is I know like we were talking about like the characters that we didn't like, and I was like, oh, I really don't like Peter from the Hunger Games, and Kristin, you were like, that was really funny.
I hate Gale.
Yeah,
but Gale in the movies is like
no, Chris Hemsworth.
See, like I just didn't find Peter attractive in any capacity. Like and whenever I joke about him, I'm like, oh, what, he painted himself as a rock and went and hid, like. I don't get that. And like, I think it's for me is just that he's literally just a nice guy. Like that is literally his problem. Like he's just nice.
He's just the cunning, smart, under the radar guy that he's gonna do anything for Katniss. Where like Gale's just like, I love you, everything for you, and I'm just like, God, he's so out there all the time. Like, geez. Leave some mystery.
I wasn't a massive fan of him either, but I guess it was just like, like with a lot of love triangles, you're like, oh, who's she going to pick? The good best friend and the bad boy. And it was like, oh, he's good? No thanks. Right. It's literally that simple. Like,
I think I like Peter more because I picture, like, when they describe him, it's so funny because they picked, the two characters that they picked, or the actors they picked to play them, I would have actually flip-flopped them. Because I pictured Pete as, like, the really, really tall, like, lumbering around kind of, like, farmer boy. And I pictured Gale, like, this scrawny little floppy-headed, like, Weasley, squirrely, out in the woods.
I can see that.
So, like,
I can see that, too.
The two guys that they picked, I was kind of like, well, it's great because I love Josh Hutcherson anyways. But, they just, like, didn't pick the right people for me.
Yeah, because Peeta's supposed to be, like, really strong, isn't he? Like, and Josh Hutcherson doesn't look strong. Sorry, bro.
No, like, sorry, Josh Hutcherson's, like, 7 inches too short.
You're like a little baby.
It's like, give me Finnick. I'd rather have Finnick.
Ooh, Finnick is
nice.
Finnick.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, but him and Annie have to, I think it's Annie, right?
Yeah.
I love their love story.
Next movie.
I had a question. David asked us, which I know Sam's answer already, but he had just asked plainly, pirates or ninjas?
Pirates.
Ninja?
Pirates always. I love them so much.
See, I like pirates.
Kristin, have you read the Assassin's Curse Pirate's Wish duology?
No, but I want to.
It has like basically ninjas and pirates.
It's on my wish list.
I like it.
Well.
No, yeah, because I remember people were talking about those, and then they were like, you better order them soon because they're going to be sold out because it only made like 800 copies. And I was like, what do you mean?
Right. Because the publishing house was dying.
Mm-hmm.
It's very sad.
But yeah, I say ninjas because for me it's like stealth and quiet, and like you're just like lurking. You're just lurking in the shadows, like no one knows you're there, and then murder.
And then murder. See, I picture a pirate that like actually like I don't really picture like the Jack Sparrow pirates, like those aren't my favorite, but I love the Assassin's Creed games.
Yes, and those pirates are cool.
To be, like assassin pirates, so you're like a stealthy pirate, but you can also be a loud, obnoxious pirate, and like like I like those variety of pirates. Pirates are everything. Pirates are so important to me.
I picture just ninjas a little bit more than the black outfit, like kind of like what Katniss wears in the second Hunger Games. Like, it's a little more like a suit. It's got more like detail and armor.
Like more of a modern set, like
yeah,
modern
like
ninja.
I'm not gonna wear just like a sheet over my head and like, you know, just cuff it around my eyes. Like,
right.
I'm gonna be real stealthy, okay?
Right.
With your little
Like
throwing
Black
stars.
Widow.
Yeah. Yes, like that.
Ooh, yeah, that's.
We got a good question of, have you ever pretended to read a book to look sophisticated?
In school, yeah.
I don't think I read a lot in school,
Sophisticated, but like
just like pretend to, for like class, you mean, to like pretend to read it?
They're having a debate about something, and I was like, I didn't read this, but I'm totally gonna give my 2 cents right now, like, you know, like, and usually you didn't really have to know the book because the debate starts to turn into like real life dramatization, like, well, if this were to happen to you, what would you do? So, and in a sense, I would go into the debate then, but I wouldn't really be like, oh, I totally read the book. It was so overrated. Like, like no, never done that.
No, I never pretended to read anything before. I mean, if I wanted to read it, I would just read it, and then
exactly.
Whatever. But like when I was younger, I would pretend to like have seen movies. Like, you know, when you're like 13 to 16, and like the movies that you've seen are like really important to everybody. So like I wanted to be really cool, so I said that I had seen like Boondock Saints and Requiem for a Dream because they was like the really big like edgy movies that everyone had seen. Like people were like really cool. Yeah, and I love those movies. I've seen them since, but like when I was younger, I'd be like, oh yeah, those are like my favorite movies, but like I'd never actually seen them. But like never with books. Like I never felt the need to like do with books. And that was, again, when you're like 13 to 16 and you're like, you know, people's opinion matters. Like now if someone's like, oh, you haven't read like Crime and Punishment, I'd be like, no, fuck off. You know, like,
what do you mean?
Yeah, like it doesn't.
You haven't read War and Peace. It's like the best literature ever known to man.
Right. Or like you haven't read like Ulysses. Like, oh my god. I'd be like, yeah, no, I don't have time for that right now.
I can't understand that. That's way above my vocabulary.
Yeah, like I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't care. So, and especially with Booktube, it's like, you know, there's no point in saying that you've read something that you haven't read because, like, I want to talk about.
You'd get caught out. Like,
yeah, and I want to talk about it and debate books. So, like, if someone's like, you've read, I'd be like, no, I don't care. But on a similar topic, since we were kind of maybe mentioned classics, like, do you like classics? If you do, which ones do you like and which ones do you not like as much as you wished you did?
I'm not really a classics kind of person. Like, it's never really. I can't say I don't like them because I haven't really tried them, if I'm completely honest. Like, when I think classics, like, I like the children's classics. Like, I like classic fairy tales and all those, and like Alice in Wonderland and stuff like that. But when it comes to like things like, you know, Wuthering Heights and like, no. Although to be honest, it's probably the only one I probably would like. But
yeah, I think you would.
Yeah, I probably would like it. You know, but I know that Sam, I know you like a classic because I know that I got it for you, and I know it's still sat on my shelf, and I still haven't posted it to you, and I bought it in February. The good thing is though, is that I'm moving in like 2 weeks' time, and I'm not taking it with me, so I am posting it.
I can't wait to see it.
I wanted it to be like a 1 year like celebratory gift, so I was like, oh, I'll get it now and like save it.
Mm-hmm. That's funny. I like classics enough. I choose to not read them really right now, or I don't read a lot of big books currently, unless I really plan for them because of school, because I'm reading so much dense stuff and like writing and everything else. Even though it's a social work degree and not an English degree, it's still very like reading and writing intensive. So when I'm reading, I want to read something fun and fast paced. Where like classics, you typically speaking have to like sit there and kind of like think about it, even if it's not very hard language. Like you still have to be like, okay, this is like a slower paced book or whatever. So I just choose to read my faster paced books unless, you know, because I have a week off between each class, so I'll like read the like denser, bigger books during that time. But I do like classics. I liked Wuthering Heights when I read it, but I read it back when I was like 18, so if I read it now, I might not like it as much. But I understand that it's very problematic as a book. I really like the BBC miniseries too. It has Tom Hardy in it, FYI, for all of you that want to know, and it's great. It's really angsty. And I like Jane Austen and stuff. I read Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility, and I prefer Pride and Prejudice in all of its forms. I'm trying to think of a classic that I wish I liked more. I mean, I feel like I don't have a classic that I've read and like really disliked. Even the classics I read in school, like I liked them enough. Like, it wasn't anything that I like really hated. I guess I just wish that I'd read some more. Like, I want to read Persuasion by Jane Austen really bad because I think I'd love it. And what else? Like, some of the bigger, like, I want to read Anna Karenina. It's on my shelf, but it's freaking huge and it's Russian literature, so it's gonna take me just like, you know, it's gonna take a while. So that's why I haven't really done that.
For me, I am very much, I like classics that are kind of set in like the 1920s, 30s, those that came at those times.
Like modern classics.
Yes, the ones that are back in like the Charles Dickens, the Jane Austen, the Charlotte Bronte, like all of those, I have a very tough time understanding the wording and then understanding the world, because for me it's just, I don't like history. I don't really click with it. I'm science-minded, I'm math-minded, so like that is a problem when I'm trying to read, because not only do I have to focus on the wording and the language, I have to also remember like, oh, it's 18 blah blah blah, and like this is what it was like back then, this is what they wore. Like most of the time I can't understand what's going on because I don't know what they're referring to, I don't know what the clothing is. I'm just like, okay. So for me it's more so like the Huckleberry Finn, the Tom Sawyer, the Ray Bradburys, the Great Gatsby.
Yeah,
I do like the Canterbury Tales. The Canterbury Tales are one of my favorite older. That's Chaucer.
That's
I believe,
real
right?
old. That's real old. That's like old English.
But for me, that's so cool because it's like the concept is it's all these people going on their journey, but it's the story from each person. So like you're just reading almost the same story in essence over and over again from a different view, even though you're not. So for me, like once you learn, I learned the subject, I learned where I am, and now I can understand the stories that come out. But like I have the classic lines and editions, the nice watercolor pictured. I don't know if you guys have seen those around, but those I've tried to read. I can't. I do like Oliver Twist is maybe the oldest one besides Chaucer. Canterbury Tales that I really like. I'm looking at my classics over here. But yeah, and other than that, it'll be more so like Sarah Jane's, like the Grimm's Fairy Tales, the Aesop's Fables. Those are more the ones I could connect with. And I think it's because they're not set in history of this world. They're just set in another universe where I can just grasp it very easily. Right. I don't know what it is. I don't know why I can't understand humans in the past. I don't get it.
I think
you think that'd be easier.
Right. I think the problem I have with classics sometimes too is I like to read diversely. I like to read female authors, and there are female authors that are classic authors, but I like to read female authors. I like to read feminist, more leading, and I like to read like LGBTQ plus fiction or books that have those characters in them. Yeah. And you're not going to get that a lot with classics necessarily. Like, yeah, okay, like from the canon of classics necessarily. Like, yes, you can look and you can find stuff that's written by women, or, you know, obviously with Jane Austen and stuff like that. Like, there are famous classical female writers, but typically speaking, the ones that people, like, really say canon-wise to read, it's white dudes that were upper middle class. And I'm like, no interest. Like, I don't want to read them now. I don't want to read rich white dudes now, so I don't really want to read them, like, from then. Like, I'm going to read a lot, like, some of them. You know, like, I have a whole lifetime ahead of me, but for the most part, it's like, I don't care about your perspective. Like, I've heard your perspective for my whole life, so I want to read about different people. And
exactly.
So, yeah, I'd much rather read, like, a, you know, if I'm going to read something that's, like, higher brow, or whatever that means, I'd rather read something that's, like, contemporary, you know, literary fiction than going back and reading a classic necessarily.
Yeah, I think it's not as simple as, like, oh, I don't like classics. I guess just, like, the kinds of characters that I like aren't necessarily going to be in as many classics. Like, obviously that's a really, like, stereotypical, like, sweeping statement, but when I just...
And you can obviously find them if you look, but, like...
Yeah, but then when you've got, like, so many, like, books that you're constantly discovering that are new, or, like, not new, but, you know, I think it just kind of makes me go, not right now. I mean, the only book that is a classic that I like, and it's not really a classic, but I know that it is in, like, the Penguin Classics section, so therefore I can count it, if you know what I mean, is, like, Breakfast at Tiffany's, but that's, like, not even that old, really, when you think
about it. It's another modern classic,
Yeah, I mean, that one, I love that one, and I always will, but that's probably... And again, when you think of, like, her character, like, whether you read the book or just watched the film, like, you know, she's a very unique character, and even, like, for the time, she's very, like, strong-willed woman, and she won't do what people expect her to do, and I love that about her. So I don't know, maybe I need to read one, but I don't. At the moment it's just not really.
There's no point in reading something you don't want to read.
No.
Like, why force yourself just because people are like, you need to read classics? Like, no, I don't.
Nope.
It doesn't matter.
I don't gotta like
Fairy tales and Alice in Wonderland.
Right.
There you go.
So this is a completely different question, but I thought it was really funny. This is what I was referring to at the very beginning. What is this is so funny. What is your favorite type of male supernatural creature? And they said, I'm sorry if this sounds weird, but what do you find like sexier? Like vampires, werewolves, were-somethings, fairies, da 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 da. And where do you think this like preference comes from? I thought it was just really funny because of Sarah Jane's like love of urban fantasy. So let's see if Sarah Jane can actually answer this question, because I'm not sure she'll be able to. Look at her, she's like,
Do you know what? I love the Fae, and you know this, but I think for me it's more the world that I love and the lore. I don't think I'm really attracted to like those specific characters. I think for me, even though like there are some vampire characters out there that I love, like, you know, like the Damon Salvatores of the world, but when you actually break it down to the characteristics and what they are, I think I like shifters the best.
Yeah, like,
because it's like that animal, you know, like you know. Yeah. Oh,
I was wondering if you were also going to say like shadow hunters, because they're like a supernatural creature kind of.
Ooh.
You're like, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. I think for me it's probably like the whole shifter thing or the demon thing, which I know like obviously they're not demons, they're like you know, like half-breed angel things, but yeah, I think anything for me, it's anything that gives them an excuse to do things that wouldn't be okay in a human setting, you know? Like, obviously, with, like, the shifters, like, you know, they cross the line so much. People are like, oh, it's, like, this animalistic behaviour, so it's okay. And then, like...
Because they're also animals.
And then when I think of, like... Yeah, and then I think of, like, Roth from, like, the Dark Elements. It's like, yeah, but, you know, he's a demon, so he's trying really hard, you know? So... Anything that gives them an excuse, but yeah, as much as I love Fae, I wouldn't say Fae are the kind of characters, like male characters, that I'd actually be like, oh yeah, like, you know, it's actually not. So, shifters and demons. Oh my god, a demon shifter.
Oh my god. Stop. like, we've given her new ideas.
Be still, my heart.
Oh god.
I mean, as far as supernatural creatures,
writes out idea for novel.
Right.
As I said, here comes our next book. Jot it down.
Yeah. As far as supernatural creatures, like I don't find their supernaturalness necessarily attractive. Like, I wouldn't want to like. I mean, vampires can be like Eric Northman and Damon Salvatore. I love, and like shifters too. Like, you know, I'm trying to think of all of them. You know, she mentioned like Mark and stuff like that. Can we count like mutants from like, you know, like Marvel type things? Because like I think those are like the more attractive, you know, like a supernatural human kind of thing. Yeah, like those people. Captain America, because he's technically, you know, he has like the supernatural almost abilities in a way. So yeah, I'm more leaning towards that than like the actual.
It's more their personalities, isn't it?
I mean, if I had to choose one, it probably would be shifters as well. Like it would be like shapeshifters. I think more of like the shapeshifters that can shapeshift into anything would be the coolest.
An animagus from Harry Potter.
Right. Yeah. Like these kinds of like. Yeah. So these kinds of like shapeshifter things, more so than anything else. But I don't read a ton of paranormal, so I can't even think of like a ton of other.
You know what? There's only like 2 shifters that I can think of off the top of my head, so it's not even like it's a massive pool that I've got to pick from. But I just think that like when I think of vampires, I don't think of like, oh yeah, I really like vampires. It's just that there are a few vampire characters out there that I love, but I love them because of who they are, not because of what they are.
Well,
you know? So, but yeah, I mean, give me anything non-human and it'll pretty much be alright.
Right. Well, you want something a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have a preference either.
I'm just smiling thinking about it.
It's different people from different series. I mean, you know, you have your vampires, your werewolves. Like, they're all different. I mean, it depends on the character and the... Yeah, I can't pick one. No way. It really depends on who the character is, and I'm not going to make one up in my head.
And I think then as well, it's too easy to like find a book that everyone's like, oh, you'll definitely like it. Like if someone says to me, oh, you'll definitely love this book because it's got like a shifter in it, and I'd be like, well, it depends what their personality is. Like, I think it just depends. And at the end of the day, with like the non-human things, they can get away with more, which means that they're like badder, which means that we're probably gonna like them more.
Right.
Because you know, in a book, it's like,
not
no,
really
go get yourself some help. Go get yourself some therapy. You know.
somebody asked, and this, I'm not really sure how to answer this one, but the hardest thing or like worst thing about BookTube, least favorite thing about BookTube, etc., etc. That got asked a few times.
I think one of the things that I don't like, and it's not a big thing because nobody's ever really given me any like negative comments, so it's not like I can say, oh, the negativity surrounding this or something. So I guess this is just something that annoys me. And that's when somebody comments on something and doesn't take notice of the date and then points out something as if you're meant to know it, like in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I put something up once and somebody was like, you do realise that actually blah, blah, blah is out now. And it's like, yeah, but it wasn't in January when I filmed this video.
Right.
Like, and I think that really irritates me. And the only other thing I think that can irritate me, and it's not a big thing, it's just that, like, I really like... This can make me sound really petty, so I've got to like phrase this correctly because I can't obviously edit it out. Is that I'm all for like people, if you make up a tag and they're like, oh yeah, that's given me an idea, now I'm going to make up this tag. But what I don't really like is if like, say like I make up a tag and then someone's like, oh, I'll just make up like the next version of it, and it's like, give me a chance to do it myself.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, a couple people message me and they're like, oh, can I do the 1989 tag? And it's like, well, I'd like to do it because I came up with the first one. You know, and it's not something that irritates me massively. It's not something that would really, really annoy me. But I think I just kind of, I guess I do get a little bit irked sometimes if someone like kind of tries to beat me to something, because naturally sometimes I can't do it as quick as I'd like to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but nothing. There's no like real negativity or anything like that. You know, it's fine.
Yeah, the only thing that bothers me is like if I sit there and I watch somebody's like whole video, like say it's like a 12-minute video, and I leave this big comment, and then all I get back is like thanks. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I had some questions in there. You know, I complimented. Like I really wanted to generally like start a conversation because that's what I thought you wanted for this video, and then all I got was like a thanks with 4 exclamation points. It's like, okay, I understand maybe you don't have the time for everybody.
But sometimes people actually ask you to put a comment, like, what books did you, and then you'll answer that.
Right.
Or, like, you know, ask me some questions in the comments, like, okay, and then, like, I get thanks. I'm like,
You're like, I asked you something, yeah.
Yeah, I was just excited to maybe hear back, and then you didn't, and you're like, okay, that kind of sucks, but, you know, I'm not like, ugh, I hate this person, they're so vain. I'm just like,
it's just like
whatever.
Things, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
At me, like,
it was like, oh, I wanted an answer.
Mm-hmm.
I guess things is, look, I was saying, this hasn't happened to me, but like I think on other people's videos I've seen, what really annoys me is if like rather than talk about like the issue, someone leaves a comment and it's like about someone's like clothes or like their hair or something like that, and it's like, this isn't relevant if you haven't.
Like as far as not liking something about their clothes or their hair.
Yeah. Like if they go like, it's a video you've put up about, you know, like, I don't know, do writers owe fans or some like good discussion video, and rather than contribute, they're like, the hair looks weird, or like, or I don't like this, and it's like, that's not relevant. I'm not bothered, and I don't like comments like that. And I guess the only other thing that annoys me as well is when people, and this isn't really a BookTube issue, but I don't like it when people think that somebody's opinion of something is less because they were either sponsored to do it or given a free book or given something like that. Like, that really does irritate me, because I kind of feel like it's almost like we're in this kind of culture where, like YouTube culture, where we're only happy for a certain channel as long as they don't succeed.
Yes.
And as soon as they reach a certain point of success and people start recognizing it and going like, oh, you know, would you like this book, or would you like to come to this book event or something like that, I'd be so happy for somebody if that happened. And a lot of the time you see a lot of negativity and people be like, oh, it's not, they don't deserve that. And it's like, can't we just be happy? Just want to bake a cake of rainbows and smiles.
Right.
You know,
I have a lot of feelings.
Yeah. That kind of annoys me, because people can't be happy for each other.
Yeah, I think that's my least favorite thing, and that's been my least favorite thing about it since the beginning, is even when I only had 5 subscribers, I would get so annoyed at people not liking or talking bad about somebody that has a lot more. And and it happens to this day, and it still happens, and it's always a big discussion. Whenever there's a big discussion happening on BookTube, something is always kind of pinged back to people that have a lot of subscribers. And it's like, that is a person, and that is a person that has put a lot of work into their channel, whether you think they have or not, whether you like what their channel has or not, whether you enjoy their content or not. They're still putting out a lot. A lot of them have been doing it for years. And for somebody to be just so negative towards that person that they've probably never met in their life is very upsetting to me. And that's just like a YouTube issue.
Yeah.
But it's just like, knock it off. You know, and I've said this before. I said this in my tips about booktubing video. Like, there is not a certain amount of success, and the success has been used up, and now you can't get any.
Yeah,
like, that's not how the world works. You know,
someone doing well doesn't take away from you.
No, that does not mean anything about you. Like, you know, there's like quotes about, you know, like, you know, flowers don't look at other flowers and get jealous because everybody can be a beautiful flower. You know, like, it doesn't matter. So that really bothers me. Enough just to get like annoyed about. Like, obviously I'm not sitting here stewing about it, but like, you know. And then whenever there's a discussion happening on BookTube, people always call it drama. And I'm like, it's a discussion where people are talking. Like, you know, whether it's about a big hot button issue or not, like, a discussion does not mean drama. Like, it just means, and I feel like calling something a discussion drama is a way to belittle it. And it's like, don't belittle something. Like, we're having a discussion. We're all educated people, and we're talking about something. So that kind of bothers me too. So it's really like,
because that makes it a negative issue, doesn't it? Like, if you want to talk about, say, like, I don't know, like you did the buying and selling of arcs or something like that, you're just bringing up a subject and talking about it. Whereas if someone says drama, it's like you've made something negative, and it's like, no, I'm actually just talking about it.
Right, like, I'm having a discussion and I want to talk to you guys about it and stuff like that. So yeah, it's I don't like the like drama aspect of whenever there's a community and people are like, that's dramatic and why are you talking about it? It's like, because it's something that we can talk about.
So you have a premise and a place to say something, because you're right, you can say something as long as it's just your opinion and just giving the information. But when you start having no backup and just being irrelevant, well, yeah, that's drama, because you're just there to make rough waters. Like, don't try to stir the pot. Just,
or saying something which you don't really have an opinion on either way. You just want to say it.
Yeah, you just want to stir the pot in general. Like, no. So I'm all for the discussions and the chats and everything. I love that. That's what makes it fun. And at the end of the day, if you don't agree on something or not, you still have, you know, play nice and just discuss it out. And I think that comes from, for me, like, comes from being an athlete. Like, for 90 minutes of a soccer game, I'm going to hate your guts if you're on the other team. But as soon as the game's over, whether I won or lost, that's the end of the game, and I'm going to shake your hand, thank you, you know, have a great day, goodbye. Like, you know, I'm not going to sit there for the next 5 years of my life and talk about the one girl at the one soccer game. Like, what's the point? Like, you know, just move on with your life. And
that's a good point.
That's how you have to be a player, a good player.
Yeah. So I think those are my least favorite things about it. It's just like the competition and stuff like that, as far as like, oh, this channel is bigger, or like, or when people say that like BookTube's cliquey or something, and I'm like, it's not cliquey. I feel like the same way like human beings naturally group up, like we were talking about earlier, as far as when you're a new channel, like human beings naturally do that, and nobody by being somebody's friend, like by us three being friends, we're not excluding anybody else from being our friend. We're just friends.
It just happens, and
and we're friends with other people too. Yeah.
Like we all sat there and we're like, I'm only gonna talk to Sam and Sarah Jane, and that's it. Yeah. And they will only be my friends, and nobody else is allowed in. Like,
you can't sit with us. Oh my God, the Mean Girls.
It happens.
Yeah.
Don't worry, tomorrow's Wednesday,
and we're gonna wear pink.
It's so funny.
But, yeah.
Do you guys have other?
I don't think so. I think I have gone through them all, and I think we have pretty much done. Like some of these we haven't answered, but we've probably answered them like directly.
Yeah,
I think. There's one that somebody says, is there a book that you really didn't like but couldn't put it down because you had to know the ending?
You didn't like?
Yeah, you didn't like it, but you couldn't put it down at the same time.
I continued to read Beautiful Disaster even though I
fucking
hated it, because I just want to be able to review it. Like, I usually, like, I very rarely do not finish books because I don't like a book. I want to finish it so I can review it and stay, like, because I don't review books that I've never finished.
So that your opinion is, like, valid, because then you're like, yeah, I did read the whole thing and I didn't like it.
And I knew the ending was going to suck, and it did. And for me, I don't think, I'm like trying to look around some of my books, but the ones sitting around me are mostly unread. Trying to think of books I've unhauled, but I usually finish them just to finish them as well. And it sucks, but nah.
I think the only book that I really didn't like since, since the whole BookTube thing really was Beautiful Disaster. Like, that's really...
Yeah, because, like, I don't finish books just to know the ending. I finish them more because I'm, I want to finish the book.
Right.
Yeah. It's not like, oh, I need to know the ending, because then I feel like maybe it's a book that you actually kind of do like a little bit, because if you need to know the ending,
there's only one book I've given up on.
Not just curiosity, be like, you just got to see.
I've only given up on one book since starting BookTube, like one.
Yeah, I think I've only stopped reading like one or two, and I plan on reading again at some point. Just I wasn't feeling them in the moment.
Yeah, it was one I was reading with Kristin, and we agreed to read it like together, and I just stopped and didn't acknowledge it ever. And then like 2 months later, I was like,
what did we read?
Do you remember we were going to read that Veronica Decides to Die? And we started reading it.
Oh yes. I read.
And I just stopped reading it, but like I think it was a time like we would only just like started talking and stuff, so like I just gave up with it, and then not intentionally, but I just forgot to acknowledge it, and then like 2 months later I was like, oh yeah, I gave up with that book.
So funny.
But
it's very slow. Very slow.
Yeah.
Sean
Sean
asked us what, other than BookTube and Goodreads, what are your favorite ways to discover new books?
I discovered new books recently because you tagged me in that GIF thing on Tumblr.
Oh, that's right.
Like all these little GIF images of like urban fantasy, like female protagonists, and I was like, oh, they're grouping like Sookie Stackhouse and Michaela Lane in the same group, so I'm gonna go and pick like one of these random things and just see how I get on with it. The first option did not go well, and I didn't like it, but that doesn't mean that I won't like some others.
Right.
So that's probably the only other way, to be honest. Like social media. Still social media though, isn't it? Like. Yeah,
I only really get book recommendations through social media of some kind. Like I've talked this before about how like I can't buy anything period without recommendations. Like I don't buy electronics, makeup, anything without a recommendation. So Goodreads and Booktube are my favorites. I also follow a lot of blogs. So waiting on Wednesday posts on blogs are really great for finding like upcoming books that like BookTube doesn't talk about, because the blogger community talks about some of the same books that BookTube does, but a lot of books that we don't talk about. So, or that just aren't, because the blogger community is huge, bigger than BookTube, so there's so many more people reading so many more books. So waiting on Wednesday posts are great because they're talking about books that are upcoming that like BookTube hasn't even mentioned. So those are awesome. And then like Twitter and stuff, but really it's like blogs or Goodreads or BookTube is like the only way I discover books, because I have to hear, like I have a group of people that I follow whose recommendations I trust completely, and I know all like these books, typically speaking. So it's like I don't go anywhere else really. Like even if I walk into a store and liked this look of a book, like I'm probably not gonna pick it up unless I check Goodreads.
I guess as well, like when you went to BEA, like you probably discovered like new books that way, and I guess it'll probably happen the same for me. Like when I go to Yauk, like if there's going to be authors there that I've never heard of, I might like pick up a book in that sense that like I might hear them and go, oh, you seem like a pretty cool person, I'm going to look up your book. But I think that's the only instance where I would perhaps pick up a book that I hadn't heard about through social media. Yeah, like, and I checked those books on Goodreads too, like any of the arcs that were dropping, like I checked, because I can't, like I don't want to, I have so many books to read and I don't want to waste my time with a book I might not like. Yeah. So. It's not like how it used to be in the old days.
I'm a little more compulsive, but that's because like every other month in my town, well, it's not my town, it's like a couple towns over, there's a book sale, and it's in the basement of this library, and hardcovers are $1 and paperbacks are 50 cents. But it's usually books that I pick up that I've heard about. But like I'm going to it tomorrow, which I'm really excited. But sometimes I pick up books there, and it's so funny. I'll pick them up, and then I'll find out about it on BookTube like a week later. Someone's like already talking about like this book's so good, and I'm like, oh my god, I just picked that up like on a whim, and then it's actually something in this community. So that's kind of cool. But usually it's always influenced by Goodreads, Twitter, YouTube. Like it's just always. It just naturally is, and then like because your TBR list is getting so long because of that, you're not going to go out of your way to like find books in another way because you already have too many. Right. Yeah. Like why would we make it harder for ourselves? Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Which are your favorite videos to film, and which are your favorite to watch? Ooh. I like filming hauls. Those are easy. Filming hauls and filming reviews. To watch, I love like sped up reorganization or bookshelf tours. All of those, anything with the bookshelves, for some reason I really, really enjoy. Those are like the ones I'll instantly watch. Like I don't even know who you are. I'm like, click, But from the people that I do actually watch, it's more so discussions, wrap-ups, when they rate books. And then I like Top 5 Wednesdays a lot because they're usually quick, short, very easy.
I really like filming my book discussions. I can screen this two ways. My book chats that are actually about like a bookish topic that I'm discussing, I love filming. And I also really love filming my gush videos that are like my, talking all spoilery about a book. Because those I tend to get the most comments on as far as discussion-y comments, and I can actually talk to people about them, where like book hauls and stuff like that, like I don't tend to get like a ton of actually discussion-y type questions. It's just like, oh, I want to read that too, or like, let me know what you think of this, which are great, but like I like the discussion in comments and stuff, so I love filming those because I'm filming them with the intention of discussing whatever I'm talking about. I love watching hauls though. Like whenever I find a new channel, I will check their hauls to make sure they read stuff that I want to read. Like that's the first videos I will watch, like that and their wrap-ups. I like watching wrap-ups too for the same reason, because that's how I know like we're gonna have similar tastes. Because and sometimes I watch people that like have completely opposite books than I do. Like Mercedes from Mercy's Bookish Musings and like Max from Well Done Books. I watch them. They don't read the same stuff that I read at all. But like typically speaking, I want to watch channels that like have the same tastes, so I can find new recommendations. So those are the ones that I like watching the most.
Mine are the same as both of you, so I'm not gonna like say that because it is literally the same. So the only other thing that I will say that I like to film is I do really like filming original tag videos. Like, I mean, it was fun for like the Taylor Swift one, but it was all quite new at the time, so like I didn't know how much people were gonna love it. Whereas then when I did like the 1989 one, I was like, oh, I hope people will like this and don't think that I'm like kind of stretching it a bit thin. And then when everyone was loving it, and then like with the Mean Girls one, it was just so much fun to see like people's reactions of, oh my, like not like in a self-indulgent way, just in a people really love this. This is so cool. And then like seeing it pop up like in my subscription box. That someone's filmed it. It's like, oh, I can't wait to see what they've picked I can't wait to see how they've interpreted those questions. So it's really cool. Like I really like people film. Like I like filming the original tags, but I also like watching them, like watching other people film them. It just like, especially if it's like a new channel, and like I actually go on the search box and I type it in, and I will try and watch every single one. And like I don't care what subscribers they've got. I don't care what other videos they've got. I just like to make a point of saying thanks for doing my tag.
Yeah, that's what I did with the Grinch tag too when I made that.
Yeah, and I
went through all of them.
Yeah, and I just think that's like a nice thing to do, and I try and do that with every single one. So I don't know. I just think they've made that effort to like do the tag that I've created, and at the end of the day, they've helped me because they've gone. This was created by Sarah Jane. So I think I like to then thank them, and I just love it. I just love seeing people's answers. I just think it's great.
If you were going to film videos about things other than books, what would they be?
Rabbits.
Yeah.
Little bunnies. Do you know what? I think for me, I'd probably like to film craft videos, like craft stuff. I don't really like filming craft things because I did that ribbon bookmark tutorial, and it was fun, but oh my god, it was so hard because it was like I need this angle and I need this angle and I need to explain it and make sure everyone understands what I'm doing. So I think what I'd like to do in the future is not necessarily a tutorial because, guys, I'm just too lazy for that stuff. So I would like to film like me making, say, like a Grisha themed necklace, and it's just like sped up, just like literally like 3 minutes, and like really quick of just me going, and it's like, haha, here's the necklace, rather than like then do this, then attach this bit. I don't really want to do that, but I would like to film some really, really quick, like sped up videos of like making book-inspired craft stuff. So if anybody would like to see that, let me know. But I think that'd be fun because I like making them and then sending you guys pictures. Anyway.
Oh yeah, love it. I would probably do, as much as I want to say makeup, I would probably do science-related videos because I am a science teacher. It's just, for me, it feels very weird talking about science when I'm standing in my bedroom. So if I had a different setup, like a whiteboard behind me or something, it would just feel more natural to talk about science. Plus, if I did do like science videos, like Crash Course, SciShow, like all those, I would like to actually do the experiments as well and have clips of like whatever experiment, or more stuff than just me talking to the camera for 10 minutes. Like a little more hands-on. So that would require a lot more production and a lot more time and a lot more things and all that, and I just don't have the time for that. But would I love to do that? Yes. So let me know if you want to learn how cells divide, because I got that.
I would love to do beauty videos, but I would never do them because I've learned stuff from other gurus. I don't have anything new to add to the beauty community, honestly.
Exactly.
So I have no reason to do that. Like maybe at one point, I know a lot of people ask about my lipstick. One of the questions I got was asking about my lipstick. Maybe one day I'll do like a lipstick haul or like a lipstick collection video, because they are like a thing that people comment on a regular basis. But generally speaking, I wouldn't make just like general, I would never make like a tutorial or anything, I don't think, unless the one idea I have that's still book related is to do like eye makeup based on like a cover. Like I really like the Percy Jackson covers, the new ones that are all very like almost like mermaidy. Cool. Yeah, but it's still book related, and it's not just completely beauty related. But I think ultimately, and I will end up doing this, is doing some about like my other hobbies, such as like video games or like board games. And kind of like, but again, it would almost be like a review. Like I plan on at one point doing videos kind of talking about video games or like board games and like their stories, because again, it's another medium of talking about like storytelling. So I think those kinds of videos, like talk about video games and like for like new video game releases, like right after E3, I was like, there's so many video games I want to talk about, but I just still didn't feel the need to do it on my channel quite yet. But at some point, like other hobbies would be what I would do.
Yeah, I'd like to do some more like writing related videos as well, because like that's something that I originally, when I watched my really awkward first video clip, and it was like, I made this channel because I want to talk about books and writing, and it's like, how many times have you talked about writing, Jane? Well, a couple of times, but not very much. So yeah, I guess I just like to like bring in other elements of things that I like, whether that's, I think the craft thing is probably something that I actually will do at some point, like, because I make so many book-related jewelry. I think people would like to see it. But then at the same time, I don't really want to put something out there and be like, hey guys, copy this. So, but then at the same time, it wouldn't be a tutorial, so, we'll just have to see. I'll probably end up doing a video on like my British jewelry collection or like my glasses collection. That's probably going to happen.
Right, like those things are like, cool. And again, it's a look into people's personalities and stuff, because all the things that we said we do is still like, stuff on our personalities and what we enjoy. And really good things. I'm going to ask, what is a book that you compare with an experience? I feel like they're kind of saying like, what is something, I'm trying to think of a better way to phrase that.
No, I get it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Grisha.
Yeah. I would say Grisha Trilogy and Us as friends. Yep. I'm trying to think of, there's books that I read when I was younger that I can think of, like the Sabriel series I talked about earlier, the Lyriel of Porson, Sabriel, whatever, by Garth Nix. I read those in high school, and I always read them during English class because our teacher didn't care if we were reading during class, if we were like kind of still listening. So I think I can distinctly remember like sitting in my desk reading those. So
I've kind of got two, I guess. A childhood one is I used to read the Enid Blyton books. I used to love them. And I'm actually going to do a video on them because we got the books out of the loft because we're moving house, and I found a box of all my Enid Blyton books. I remember asking my mum to make me up a picnic because that's what they had in the Famous Five. And I'd go on a walk. This is so like country. I'd go on a walk with Bonnie, my King Charles Cavalier, and we would go on an adventure around the village. And what we'd do is we'd go for a walk, and I'd have my little backpack with my lunch, and then we'd sit in the park and I'd eat my lunch and read a book. Like I'd literally sit there and read like Enid Blyton with my dog, and that just makes me really happy.
That's adorable.
And then the other one, and I'm sorry, it's look, even my headphones are sick of me. Is the Fever series, because I read The Hunger Games and I read Twilight, but they were books that I read and then I didn't kind of look for anything more of that genre. Whereas like I always read contemporary, and then when I started to like become unwell, I was like, I'm really sick of all these happy-go-lucky stories. I want something with like some angst and some drama and some excitement. And I got a tablet and I was like, oh, I'll download like some samples, because obviously you can't do that with paperbacks. And literally Dark Fever was the very first sample that I downloaded of an ebook ever, and I was like, let's just see how I feel about this. and I loved it, as obviously everybody knows. So I think for me, I connect that experience to like feeling really unwell. It was a time where I actually bought the tablet because I couldn't hold books, and I was really upset, and I hadn't read a book for about 6 months, and I was like, I can't read books, my life's over. And I like found this book, and I love it because of its story, but I love it because of when I found it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's always going to be a book that's like means a lot emotionally, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, so that's what I connect that to. So one's sweet and one's just like random.
Yeah, mine would be Grisha with you guys, and then growing up is Harry Potter. Fun fact, not really, but when I was little, I couldn't read very well. I was the kid that I went to a Catholic school, and out of the 30 kids, me and my friend had to go to the back table because we couldn't read. So they would read like the test to us, or they would make us read out loud so we'd get better. And then I had hooked on phonics, and then Harry Potter came out, and I remember the first book my mom read some of the chapters to me. And then I remember seeing the first Harry Potter movie, and then from there I like really fell in love. So I really started reading Harry Potter, and I didn't have a problem with reading after like the second book. Like I was gung ho on it. I was ready to go. So that really helped me learn to read quicker, faster, and better. And I don't think if Harry Potter was around, I wouldn't have learned to read as quickly and as well. So I think it really sparked my interest. So that's what as an experience.
Mm-hmm. We actually do have a couple writing questions and stuff, and I know that Sarah Jane, this will really apply to you the most. But one of the questions was, have you ever thought about writing a book yourself? And then if you were writing a book, this is for like Kristin and I too. We can kind of include with this because I don't think we really have. But what would be your ideas for like plots, characters, genre if you were to write a book?
Well,
Sarah Jane can answer like the quickest.
Yeah, like some of you obviously know, I know you two do, and some people that are watching it will know as well, but I actually have written a book. It's in the stages at the moment where I'm editing it, and basically it's kind of like a mixed bag of all the things that I have ever loved. And it is the dark and moody alpha male character, obviously, and then it's the kick-ass protagonist. But I kind of, the things that I don't like with a lot of books now that are like urban fantasy or like YA and that sort of thing, is that the female character is often very bland, and then she discovers that she's special, and then she finds out that actually she has something worth saying, and like, oh, she didn't think she was pretty, and then she realizes that someone sees her as pretty. I don't want to write about that. I want to write about someone who is, rather than be a blank slate, I want to write about someone that's really jagged and really broken and really messed up, and like my main character is a pickpocket who is like just not a very nice person, and it's like, oh, okay, I could save the world, but what if I don't want to? Has anybody ever thought about that? Like, you know, and that's what I want to write about. So yeah, I mean, as far as characters go, that's what I want to write about. I want to write about the morally grey, imperfect characters who have something to say. And as far as plots go, I think for me a plot is very, very important, but for me characters have always come first, and they always will do. Like, the whole plot of mine is that fairy tales were once real, and now, you know, they were separated and the world was divided, and now the two worlds are colliding, and oh my god, what's going to happen? And I love that. Like, obviously otherwise I wouldn't have thought of it, but for me it's what happens if an imperfect person who isn't likable had to save the world. What if that task fell on somebody who wasn't good? And that's ultimately what I'm writing it about. So, you know, need to get back on it, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to get anybody to read.
Yes. I actually think about writing. I just know that I'm not a very good writer. But I've had many, it's so funny, it'll be like when I'm driving or in the shower, which is like the two most inappropriate times to think of a book, because you're like, I can't write it down anywhere. So sometimes I'll get my book or my phone and I'll talk to text in my notepad or whatever. So there's a couple books like I always think of, and they will probably never go to publish, but like one is, you know how I like Saul and The Maze Runner. This one is about these 12 people that get like abducted, and they get put into the base of what is kind of like the Chernobyl nuclear disaster, and they are basically set there as test subjects to see how long they're going to live, and all this stuff, and people are monitoring them and blah blah blah, and it goes on from there, and it's a mix of moms, children, gays, blacks, like all, from all different walks of life. And that was one that I have like a couple chapters right now for that, but it's not going to come of anything because I never know where to go after I start it. I'm like, and that's it. That's all I got. The other one I had is really cool, which I really, really liked, and this one I thought of like, it was during NaNoWriMo. I think, Sarah Jane, if you remember, I was like, guys, I kind of thought of like a story, and then you guys were like, we'll do NaNoWriMo, and I was like, I don't have time.
It was like halfway through as well, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was almost towards the end of it, but it was another story. It's kind of like, it's obviously the main character is kind of like me, because that's what, basically in the first chapter what happens is she's substituting in like this kindergarten, and her dad's dead. It's only her and her mom live with her grandparents, her mom's parents. And she gets this phone call that her mom like basically killed herself and jumped out of a building, and she's like standing in the room of like kindergarten kids, and she's like, what? And like she's like, why would someone call and tell me this like over the phone? Like, this is highly inappropriate. Now I have 30 kindergartners looking at me like, what am I supposed to do? And Manoa's like, can't leave. So then all of that happens, and basically you find out that like the mom was part of this secret world, and then the girl has been removed from it, and all this stuff. And it's very much a world with secret. The premise of it is that your blood has special powers. I don't want to say too much because if I actually ever do write it, but yeah, the blood has like secret powers, and she is like the last living of this whole secret agenda of wizards that had thought to be killed off, but they aren't. And now her mom, did her mom kill herself? Was her mom murdered? Where's her dad? Is her dad dead? The grandparents, do they not know? Do they, like, it's all this stuff. So, so that's what it was. And I actually wrote the first like 3 chapters, and one of my friends had read it, and they're like, this is really good. I'm like, you don't even read, okay? Like, just stop it. And like, it's more so like, if you read it back to myself, it's more so me just like telling like, and then she went here, and then this happened, because it's very rough. It's a very rough outline.
I always say the first draft is just you telling yourself the story. Like, I mean, I know like you guys have seen like little snippets, and I mean little snippets. Anyone watching, like, it's literally like a paragraph, isn't it? And like, obviously you've always been like, oh, that sounds really cool, and oh, that's but that's not how it first was written. Like, when I look back on the first chapter, it's so bad, and like, my friends were like, oh, this sounds really good, you should continue with it. And I look back on it now and I'm like, guys, you were so nice, because it really wasn't like, yeah. And I think, you know what, like, I mean, I come from like a writing background because I studied script writing, but I'd never ever even written a short story since like the ages of like 15. So from that point on, I never read a short story. And then I think I'm going to write a novel today, and it's got to where it's at. So I think, anyone can write a story as like, the first version is just you telling it to yourself.
Yeah, I've never really seriously thought about writing anything, but I do the same thing that Kristin was saying, where like you're in the car and you like, and I listen to a lot of like soundtrack music that doesn't have any lyrics in it, so I can like kind of zone out as far as like what I'm thinking about. And I'll think of like stories, but I think of characters, but I don't necessarily think of what to put them into. Like, I can't think of a plot. Like, I have so many characters in my head that are all wonderful, like, wonderful women, typically speaking. They're all girls. I'm never gonna, like, I mean, writing a guy, I'm like, why? Besides, like, a love interest or whatever. But, like, I have all these characters, but I can't really think of, like, what is driving these characters, like, what story are they, what's the plot, like, I don't know. But, so mine would definitely probably end up being something that's kind of like a retelling, but not really. Like, I've always thought about doing something Medusa related, because I love Greek mythology, but I don't really like a lot of it that's, like, done all the time. Like, yes, there's tons of Greek mythology surrounding around like retellings of like Zeus and all that kind of stuff, Percy Jackson, whatever. But I would love to do a Medusa retelling that's a different spin on it, because everyone who thinks of Medusa is like this monster, and really she was like punished for something she didn't even do. Like, I don't know if you guys know like the Medusa story. Like, Medusa got raped by Poseidon, and because she was like a priestess in, I think, Athena's temple, and then Athena turned her into a monster and cast her out. And it's like, I want to write something where like she like reclaims, that she like fights back, because really like everyone thinks of Medusa as like this, awful
That would be really
creature.
cool.
Yeah, and I'm thinking of it, but I'm like, what would I do? Like, I don't necessarily want to do like Storm Olympus because everyone does that. It's just kind of so I don't really know what I would do. And then I also really want to bring in, like you were saying about like it's all your favorite things. Like I'd love to bring in like pirates, and I'd love to bring in like all those other things, but I don't know how I would mesh that all together. So it would definitely be a fantasy book of some kind. I just fantasy retelling.
Do you know what I thought of straight away? Like, just, you know what you were saying, like, about that idea, and it would be a different spin on it. I imagine it almost like, and this is completely random, so anybody watching this is going to be like, what on earth is she on? But, like, that sort of story in, like, a YA setting where, like, it's almost like urban fantasy. So, like, that sort of story gets told, like, say someone's at school, and that sort of thing happens to them, and they're cast out by, like, all the popular people, but they have these powers. And they turn, and that would be so cool. Like if it was
there's definitely different ways you can spin it with different settings and stuff. And yeah, like I think if I end up doing it, it'd be something like that. But it would just ultimately be like I would need to think of what's really driving her besides the revenge plot, because revenge plots are great for like a first book, like because it probably would end up being like a trilogy or something. Because I like world building and stuff like that, and I'd want to have a nice world. So obviously a trilogy is like the best way to do that. But a revenge plot, I think, can fall kind of flat after like one book if it's just them wanting revenge. And I like writing, or I like seeing, morally gray villains that aren't just black and white villains. So a revenge plot wouldn't necessarily that wouldn't last a full story.
It would have to
for
be
me.
like after the revenge plot, they then wanted to overthrow how the whole system was done. Like, how did they get to overthrow her in the first place and get rid of her?
True.
You can tell I think about these things on like a daily basis.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think about like like I said, that like that's just one of them that I kind of thought of, but that's one that I really like. So I don't know if we want to wrap this up because we've been at this for a while, and for those of you that are still around,
I think we have answered nearly every.
Yeah, there is one final question that I think we should answer because it's a very nice way to wrap it up. Caitlin from Book Chats asked it. And she said, what are your hopes for the year ahead, Booktube and otherwise?
Oh, that's a nice one to wrap it up on.
Yeah.
But we have nothing to say.
I don't know.
As far as Booktube, I just think I'm going to kind of continue doing the same thing that I'm doing. I'm looking forward to future book events. I'm going to, Kristin and I are actually going to Y'all Fest in November, along with us Booktubers. I know. And, like, next year's BEA and stuff like that, like, we're looking forward to all that, meeting more people, continuing the friendships that I already have, continuing to make videos, like, stay on the same, I've been doing this 3 days a week for the past year, so continue doing that, all the other books I plan on reading and stuff, so that's just kind of booktubing-wise.
Yeah.
What I'm looking forward to the next year, just continuing and just having my channel grow, which is just really awesome, and meeting new people and everything, so that's my hopes for Booktube, and I'll answer otherwise after for like the final wrap.
I think I've got something for otherwise, but I'll leave that because then we can go back round. I think for Booktube, it is just literally like, for me, having this channel and being able to do the things that I'm doing gives me like a different outlook on life because of like having the condition that I've got and stuff. It gives me something else to focus on. So I guess I just want to like grow it as much as I can, because not in terms of like subscribers, but in terms of like what sort of content I put out and things like that, because that gives me something to really be proud of. So I guess I just want to like keep doing what I'm doing, keep improving, and to be honest, I'd like to meet some people who have watched my videos, because it's great to talk to these people through comments, but it would be amazing to like meet some people and say thank you to them, So maybe that will happen, because not this weekend, next weekend I'm at Yalk in London, so that might happen. But yeah, I think, to be honest, it's just keep doing what I'm doing, and my other goal is big, but that's not to do Booktube, so we'll move on to Kristin.
For me on Booktube, I just want to, keep putting out more content, better content, and I like it. I like where I am right now. I'm comfortable. I like the subscribers that I have commenting. I like the friends that I have, and I just want it to be the same experience that I've had the first year, only a little bit better. A little bit more fun, a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more happy. It's nothing been bad from it, and I just want it to continue that way. Having so much fun going to the book event with Sam, getting to hang out with Sam just purely because I met her on Booktube, and so I just want to do more of that, because general interests of people that you get to hang out with, it's in your life now, it's fun, and I'm enjoying it so much.
You two need to do a collab. That's what needs to happen.
I know. Well, probably at Y'all Fest because we couldn't do it at the last event because it was like, you know, we didn't really have we didn't have anything we could really do. But probably at Y'all Fest will be like collab central.
Yeah.
Can you just have like a little stick figure, like, and like be like, oh, this is Sarah Jane.
Right. It's like your face.
Yeah. Yeah.
So funny. As far as life stuff, I don't really have like a ton of huge goals. I'll still be in grad school this next year. Next January, I also start an internship, so I'll be doing full-time work, booktube reading, full-time school, and internship. So it's gonna be a lot, but just kind of getting through that is gonna be fun. The year after is when I actually graduate from grad school, so then that'll be nice. But yeah, just the next year, I'm really looking forward. My parents are coming out to visit next month, so that's really exciting. And my birthday's next month. Turning 26. Some people ask me how old I am. I'm 26. We're all older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm the oldest. I don't know.
Yeah.
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 I'm the baby.
Yeah.
By 1 month.
Right. So yeah. So turning 26. That's gonna be cool. And I don't plan on like moving or anything. So just continue. It's kind of the same as with BookTube. I'm just kind of continuing doing what I'm doing and having a good time and all that. So it's gonna be really exciting.
Yeah. Well, I have a couple of things. The first thing is I'm moving house, which you guys have been like experiencing with me because it's been very difficult for me to find somewhere. But I am moving house and I'm really, really excited. But the other thing is that I actually want to finish editing this damn book.
Yay!
Like, you know, I work really hard on it, but obviously because of like the fatigue and stuff, there is no point in me editing it if I don't feel well. But at the same time, like, I really want to get it out there because I get so many lovely comments on like videos and stuff where I mention it and people go, oh, that sounds awesome, like I'd read your book, and I'm like, I'd give it to you if it was done. So my goal is for in this time next year, I want to, I'm not saying I have it out because that goal could be further than that, but I want to have it ready. You know, be like approaching agents and publishers and that sort of thing and see if that can actually happen. Like, obviously, I don't know. They might go, you know what, this is rubbish.
And then you go on a world tour and you visit us in America.
World tour.
Right. Yes.
Oh, yeah. I'll next time I'll be at like one of these book events and I'll be like, you can come see me.
Yeah, right. Well, we could go in the back.
Yeah.
But we're like.
So yeah, that's my big goal.
Well, fingers crossed. For me, I'd eventually like to move because I still live at home and have a solid job where I have a solid income because substituting isn't that great. And then from there, go wherever the wind blows, I guess. I don't really, if I stay here, it's not a bad thing. If I move, it's not a bad thing either. So we shall see. It could be another year of sitting in the same room recording, which is like right there. Or, you know, it could be a completely different. One thing I would like at some point is to have bookshelves because I have like one 3-shelf bookshelf and all of my books are packed on it. You can see like the weight. It's like, no. So I'd like to have solid, nice bookshelves. There's just nowhere to put it. So I'd have to move and then get bookshelves. So that's mine. Mm-hmm. And then read Sarah Jane's book. So
absolutely. That's my goal too.
I know where I'm sending advance reader copies.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, I think, guys, for everything for today. If you guys do like us all conversing and talking, like we said, we have a random read-alongs group, which is on Goodreads. You can just search random read-alongs and probably find us. And this month we're reading A Court of Thorns and Roses, just behind everybody else because we're late to the party. But we're having another live show next month for that, so you guys can hang out with us there. But just, again, and we've all said it like a million times, but like, thank you guys so much for making our first year on Booktube so great. Like, you guys have had a huge part in it. And if you guys have been all sitting here for this whole time, like, thanks for sitting here and listening to us.
Pat on the back.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun, so thank you guys, and thank you
so
for
much for
making it
sending
great.
questions and stuff. Like,
yes.
It would have been anywhere near as fun if we'd have just had like a couple of questions. So it's nice that everyone's like wanting to ask us these things.
Yeah.
Nice.
And as far as the giveaway, we'll probably announce this on Twitter too, but we'll be choosing winners, but it might not be tonight. It'll be sometime in the next couple of days, probably before the weekend.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning for me now.
Yeah. So it's not going to be right away. We all, you know, Kristin and I also work, so it might not be right away, but we're going to get the list of everybody's names together and put it through random.com, and then it can shoot out random winners, and we'll let you guys know. But probably before the end of the weekend, we'll get it through. Yeah. Hopefully by Friday, but maybe not. So just give us a chance. Don't attack us. Don't be
Yeah,
asking us
yeah.
questions every day. We're gonna do it, we promise, but we'll be
get
choosing those
you.
winners at some point. So again, thank you guys all for watching, and we'll see all of you guys soon. Later.
Bye.
Bye.